Welcome to the Sunday Fish School. I'm your host, Corey McElroy. Today we're going to talk about Undergravel filters, mostly because someone asked a question about it, and I thought it was a good question, and we could start with a topic. So their question was, do we think that the aquarium industry ruined Undergravel filters? Now I'm going to start with what an Undergravel filter is, because if you're newer to the hobby, you may have never even seen one. Basically, it's a big plate that goes under your gravel or your substrate, and then you put your substrate over it, and when you pump air, basically, up some tubes, it's going to pull water through it, and because bacteria is grown on the gravel, you then would filter water, right? So that's the basic principle. There's not really any moving parts. There's always ups and downs to every type of filtration, but it was one of the first ones. And honestly, if you rewind to let's say the 70s or something like that, it was really good filtration. It's still really good filtration, but the fact that it existed back when filtration was kind of bad, that really, shows how good it was then. And it's still good now, but it maybe not as good as hang-on backs, canisters, all of that. And so I want to talk about how things kind of happen in the hobby, because it's not just the aquarium industry, right? Thank you to all the new members, by the way. It's awesome to see. So if the industry itself had its way, it could promote and push any product it wanted, right? And so hang-on back filters with cartridges would just dominate. And everyone's probably watching the stream is probably not utilizing that system. So they don't have full control, right? And especially once the internet came around, we got things like, well, even just AOL Messenger, right? And then it was forums, and then it was, maybe Reddit and Facebook and YouTube, right? And so now we can share our ideas a lot more. And that, I believe, puts us in the driver's seat, right? So if I'm sharing my ideas, you guys see what I like, and you might possibly be buying that. When you guys share with each other on Facebook, this is kind of how the fish police and everything got started, right? Because you're not doing it my way, you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way, right? That's not the industry doing that, that's us doing it, right? Us as hobbyists. So I think, advertising dollars can go towards, hey, let's advertise this sponge filter, let's advertise this hang-on back, let's advertise this canister filter, right? But it's the adoption by hobbyists that will actually make something work or not, because money is spent all the time to launch new products in the industry, but they don't always take, right? So you have to get a group of people who enjoy that product, then they become your street team, your spokesman for that product. Then that starts convincing other people. So like the Aquarium Club, how do we do it? Well, I've got stuff I like, I work on it, right? Then we get Dean using it. Dean is now a spokesman, and he says, hey, I like it. And when you guys, well, Corey likes it and Dean likes it, well, I'll give it a try, right? And then as the members buy this and they go, hey, this is great, and then you look and you see the reviews on our website, that then leads to someone who's never found us before, reads, wow, 1,000 reviews, or like with Easy Green, I think it's over 2,000 reviews, like 2,000 people, good and bad reviews. Okay, I'm going to give this a try, right? So Undergravel filters, I think, kind of came out of favor just because newer technologies existed, right? And so think of it like we're all on bicycles and now cars come out. Cars are amazing, right? They get you there faster, they do things that can haul more stuff. It doesn't mean a bicycle is bad, right? And now most of us, hindsight being 2020, going way down the rabbit hole, most of us probably have a bike at our home and a car at our home, right? But we use them for different things. Maybe we're using the bike for exercise, maybe we're going out with kids, maybe we're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go down to the corner store and back. Whatever our reason for using it, it still has a place, and we all would say yeah, bicycles are good, right? And I think that's how the Undergravel filter should be looked at, as yes, this thing is a good thing. Now, where does it maybe not make sense? Last 20 years or so, planet aquariums have become very, very, very popular. It can totally work with them, but the roots end up clogging up the Undergravel filter, so you don't get the, I guess, the use out of it that you would. It still works for quite a while, years, which most people don't even set up an aquarium for years. They tear it down, redo it, all that kind of stuff. But it still really works, but over time it gets less useful. And then we as a society, I believe, became min-maxers. And if you're not from the gaming world, what that means is like, if you can't be the best at something, you don't put any time into it, right? So it's like you maximize what you can maximize and you minimize everything else, right? And so if we're trying to min-max, we're going, well, hang-on back's better. Well, canister filter's better. Well, 5 canister filters better. 5 bigger canister filters are better. 5 pond filters are better than that. Automatic water changes are even better than that, right? And you start getting these crazy things where at the beginning it's like, well, if we knew that one sponge filter would keep 100 neon tetras alive, we don't need 17 canister filters to do it also, but more is better, right? The Undergravel filter is an amazing filter, and the reason it's so amazing is because gravel typically is multi-sized, right? It's not all uniform. It doesn't always sit perfect. It can compact. It can do all these things, and as it collects more junk, it becomes finer and finer. And when it becomes finer like that, it collects finer particles, which is a good thing. So then it can really polish your water. But the problem is when it collects all of that, then it starts to clog up. So we have to service it, right? And you can get gunk trapped underneath the plate, which is a funny thing, right? If we rewind 30 years ago, the most dreaded thing was there's a bunch of mulm and fish poop stuck under the plate. All my fish are going to die. And then here we are today. There are YouTubers that only talk about deep sand beds. They talk about plenums. They talk about anoxic filtration and all of that, like it's the savior to the hobby. They're the same thing. Tons of fish poop stuck under a plate or a plenum and that kind of stuff. Deep sand bed versus, or not deep sand bed, but then versus deep sand bed and all that. Like they both are going to work. And what became feared is now we're lusting after it. And it's a cycle with everything, right? Just like we watch clothing go out of style and then 20 or 30 years it comes back, right? Because it's cyclical. And so same thing with filtration. I could definitely see a resurgence of it. Now, what I actually think is stopping Undergravel filters has nothing to do with you guys, has nothing to do with really the industry, if you will, because on one hand, it's a cheap piece of plastic to have made. Like we could definitely have them made. We could have our own aquarium co-op ones, and I've thought about it. The thing that actually stops most of it is not that I couldn't promote it, not that I couldn't convince you guys it's good, because it is good, anything like that. It's the shipping. Every year, shipping gets more and more expensive, and Undergravel filter plates are bulky and not easy to ship, and if you don't use the right plastic, can break very easily, right? And so you might have a Undergravel filter that should have been $10 is now $30 or $40 because it had to be shipped in without getting broken to a store or a warehouse and has to get shipped back out without getting broken. And because the sales aren't really high, you can't mass produce it. I mean, you can mass produce it, but you don't need to. So it's one of those like, okay, sure, if we're selling 10,000 of them every year, the production price goes down, right? But that's still the cost to ship them is going to go up each year. And every day we fight that. I mean, even today, someone said, we'd buy your multi-test strips, except you don't have free shipping. Like, well, we do have it at $50, but shipping's not free for us. And at some point, someone has to pay it. Every consumer pays shipping, whether they think they're getting it free or not. And I think that's actually what is holding the system back. Someone asked if you could use sand with them. Not really. You can use some coarser sands. There was some ways back in the day where, Dean described it. I hadn't done it personally, but you put an Undergravel filter plate, then you could put like a layer of filter floss, like a white fine pad. Then you could put sand over it. But once that did get clogged, it actually was clogged. It was really difficult to get it unclogged because that fine pad was so fine. Once it was clogged, you had to dismantle the tank and redo it. So that didn't work out long term, but it was maybe it was a couple of years in the hobby where people are trying it and they were getting really clear water and it was working really great until it doesn't. And we see that all the time in aquascaping, right? We see that people set up tanks, they take their pictures, they turn them back down a year later, they try something new. In that system, it could work. But for the type of fish keeper I am, where it's set it, try not to touch it a whole bunch, enjoy it, do those things, it's not conducive to what I'm trying to do. So I try to go more towards gravel. So I do think that they totally work. I've used them. I actually enjoy them. Dean uses some. I really do like them. And at some point, I may actually make an Aquarium Co-op version of it. It would be a modular system, because that's another thing that is part of the problem with the current way they work is A 10-gallon one fits a 10-gallon one. You can also put it in a 20, but then it's undersized. But you can't put a 20 into a 10. And like I think Lee's makes one that kind of snaps together, and the problem is they're kind of not great either. I think with I don't want to say technology today, but I think with a team of people working on today, a better underground filter could be made. But I don't know that necessarily the money's there for it. So I think that's why a lot of companies aren't working on it. But maybe someday we will, because I do think it's a cool thing. But shipping it is could be difficult. So you like my aqua blue headphones? They're finally big enough for my ears. Or big enough for my head. I mean, the ear problem is not the problem, it's the head problem. All right. Yeah, we're basically doing Q&A today. Those of you who signed up for the text notifications, you got a text today letting you know we were going live. You can always find on our page, there's well, maybe I could show you. Because we had someone asking on the forum, like, how do I find out when they're going live? And it's doable. You can, although I didn't schedule this till last night, so you'd have to check today, and I apologize for that. Katie actually reminded me, and I had forgotten because I've been so busy, but let me pull up our page here. And here we are. If you scroll down, like right now we are live. And so while we're live, it's going to really spam it for you. Like, oh, here it is, like 3 times, right? But down a little bit lower, oh, it actually disappears when I don't have one, but down lower, it'll have right above past live streams, it'll actually say upcoming live streams. But since I'm live right now, it took away the upcoming part of it. So usually that lives right in here, and so you can see and you can set your reminders and all that, or just sign up for the text notifications and you'll get them whenever I go live. I actually almost went live yesterday, but I ended up working on the old fish room all day long, and so I was pretty beat after that. Oh, we have a new member. I love the little new taco emoji I set up. Dennis Varga, and then Daryl Scott. Welcome, guys, or girls. Alrighty. Blue ball stratum puts some ammonia in the water. Yeah, it's very nutrient rich. Most of those not clay-based, well, maybe clay-based, dirt-based, clay-based, fluval stratum, 88 aqua soil, I think contra soil, a bunch of those are so rich in nutrients that that top layer that's interfacing with the water will leach into it. So that's where you get the cycling time you need for those types of tanks, which is all right. I'm not a huge fan of having to do that, but I like just kind of normal gravels and things like that. How do you get the text? If you look down in the description, there's going to be a link to our webpage, and you can sign up there. In fact, I could probably do that. Live. Let's see here. Right here, yeah. So I'm watching myself, right? And we scroll right down here to never miss a video again, right here, right? You click this button, and you'll get this sign up here. You put your phone number in here, and you confirm the subscription, and you can stop at any time, anything like that. And we only send them out for videos. In fact, some of the members were asking if we could send them out for when we get like rare plants like pink flamingo and stuff. I don't want to turn it into a spammable thing, and I know that some people really do want that, and there'd be a bunch of people that don't want that. Like, you know, once you have that rare plant, you'd be tired of hearing about it, and so you'll just have to keep checking the website like everyone else. So, but that's how you'd sign up for it, and we have, you know, about 900 people doing that, so that's good. Any tips on keeping Java Fern? I always hear how easy it is, but it seems to be my worst kept plant. It always gets holes and starts yellowing no matter how much potassium. Well, it's mostly, I would wager, assuming you're fertilizing correctly, which you probably are if all your other plants are thriving. When you put it in with a bunch of other plants, it's probably being starved out. If you've got stem plants and a bunch of other plants you put fertilizer in, they uptake it faster because Java Fern's a very slow growing plant. So one of the ways you could maybe help fight that would be to get the roots to actually pull into the substrate and maybe feed from root tabs, so they're not competing directly with the other water uptake plants. Like, they're still going to get some from that, but yeah, that's the way I would combat it. It is an easy plant in that it's kind of hard to kill. If you didn't have anything else with it, it kind of just, well, and I guess what easy means is typically low light, And even if you're really bad with fertilizer, it'll live. So like just some fish poop and that, it'll probably live. It might not be the best looking specimen, but it'll live and keep propagating and that kind of stuff. Same with like Anubias and maybe a bulbitis, couple things like that. But that's what an easy plant is, but everyone's easy is different. Like, well, I want my specimen to look amazing. Well, any plant specimen that's going to really look really, really good takes work. It's not just going to be like, I accidentally have the best looking plants on the planet. It will take work. So, it's unlikely that it'll completely die off on you, but it will take a little bit of work to make it look good. I apologize for the mess in the background. I've got, that's a 14-foot long green screen that I need help to install. And then I didn't get time. These are all things to help with the echo, which hopefully the echo's not too bad because I'm wearing a lapel mic today, which I'm testing in case I have guests. So it's this kit right here in case anyone's really wondering. And yeah, they're like $300 or $400 a piece. So I use 2 of these. Right now I'm using 1. And it'll allow us, I can go anywhere in the room. You should be able to hear me, no problem. It's got a battery pack. We're testing right now to be plugged in and running off of just USB straight. So hopefully that'll work. If not, I have to switch. But I thought, I've got to test this before I have a guest and I really, bungle it up and make it no good. Yes, make sure you hit that like button. The more likes we get during a live stream, the more notifications it'll send out to the people that didn't get a notification. So that's kind of a thing. If there's a ton of likes, then it goes, hey, notify all the subscribers. If there's really a lot of likes, it goes, hey, let's start notifying people that don't even subscribe to the channel. How to lower the GH. My tap water has a GH of 14 and it's causing hard water stains on my turtle. The way I would attempt this is I would build a cage. So in your turtle tank, I would take some of the tank and maybe use lighting diffuser. I don't have any with me, but it would basically be like a white version of that that's got like 1-inch holes, and build a wall. Plant the other side of it. Now, any plants that go through, the turtle's going to eat. That's fine. But why are we doing all this? One, it'll eat nitrates and stuff like that, but plants they also need calcium and magnesium and things like that. And so that would be your GH reading. The plants will be consuming those out of the water. And so if it got low enough, and then when you do a water change, so imagine right now you're at GH 14. Plants, let's say, consume 1, and I'm just saying this, 1 GH per week, right? You could let them just like consume, and now you're at 3 GH. You do a 50% water change, boom, maybe you'll be back at like 8 or 9 GH, right? And if you're getting calcium deposits on the turtle shell, hopefully when you get lower in the GH range, it'll start dissolving back into the water and help you. So that's the way I would try and tackle it, short of using an RO unit or something like that to really just physically doctor the water. I like to use plants to do it. You could also you can build that same kind of cage thing or a hang-on back filter, which turtle tanks usually have the water down low, so that becomes hard. But you could build an over the tank filter, which I might do for the 800 gallon, and grow things like pothos and peace lilies and things like that out of it, and that will also consume those same nutrients for you. It's a good way to really scrub water clean. The problem is, know that those plants start growing really fast, and they can scrub it so clean and then die off, and they can really drop your pH and things like that. So you really want to make sure you're dosing fertilizers and watching the water parameters, because it's like, oh, it's going great, and then a year later you have this plant that's huge, and now it's actually being detrimental. So what started out as good actually has turned bad. Let's see here. Audio is improved. Good. I'm glad to hear it. I honestly always try and improve. I don't always get the time to try and improve, but I do work on how can I make this a little better? How can maybe some of you have noticed there's not this much space above my head anymore. I lowered the camera. I actually swapped to 2 monitors so I could have 2 monitors and bring the camera down at eye level. But yes, there's always, I'm trying to build it so that it'll be useful for every scenario, right? Like, so right now we have this look, and I realize like right over here, I've got some stuff from the old studio, but imagine I've got Dean sitting next to me or something like that. We need a wider angle. And before we even have to set up more cameras or anything, I can just open it up. And then, depending on if Dean's sitting on one side and I'm sitting on the other, we can just turn the camera and have something like that. So trying to make it as kind of modular and adjustable as I can. So that way it'll work for multiple scenarios. And I know the audio was always one of the biggest problems that we had with that. So hopefully going forward, we invested, basically about $1,000, and I had to buy a whole new controller, which I haven't even set up yet because I want to make sure it didn't break this live stream. Right now, we've been focusing so much on getting the house ready to sell that all my time is going there. I've got a punch list I gotta do, things that go way back, like, you don't have a cover on that outlet that hasn't been there for like 4 years. I'm gonna go buy the outlet cover and put it on there since I'm moving out. We had a landscaper there yesterday, and there's pictures in about 10 days, and selling a house is a nightmare. If you've never done it, it's as bad as you think it's going to be. It's just as bad as buying a house, apparently. Are there any new green screen backgrounds I plan on using? I haven't really thought about that yet, and if I was good at my job, I would film all kinds of stuff. I really would love to film some stuff like in Peru and just other places I go. So like, let's say I find a really cool spot, like just in the jungle, and just have that, film like an hour's worth and just let it sit there. And that's part of the problem, is no one wants to sit there for an hour and not walk in front of a camera. But if I could work that, then I could have these really cool like nature shots. Like, oh, I remember when I was at that river. I remember what was there. I think that could be kind of cool. But working on hopefully more trips in the following years, get Jimmy to come along, and we can do some of that of like, hey, go set up a camera over there and just let it sit, and hopefully it doesn't overheat in the sun. And then we'll go do this over here. We'll come back in an hour, and hopefully no one walks in front of it, that kind of stuff. But I like the green screen, but at the same time, I don't want to overuse it. I use it when it's needed. And really, I'm trying to get to more back to a one-on-one, like this is, like in the past, maybe I'd have green screen this if my green screen was up, because I'd be like, oh man, I got stuff over here. I got the giant lava lamp just sitting there because I don't have anywhere else to put it right now. Yeah. What's the number on the screen? I figured it was people watching. It is people watching. There's a little bit of a delay between how many people are actually watching and the software, the Streamlabs software updating. So yeah, mostly the reason I'm really doing it is to give context to any potential, for lack of a better term, like business partners. Like, let's say we needed to impress a company down the road that we want to build our own hang-on back, and then they start looking at it like, wow, okay, they had 1,000 people watching. Yeah, so that's why I kind of do it. And it gives me a reference point too when I go back. Like, I wonder how much people watched this live stream 3 years ago. Like, what was that like? So now we'll know. Yeah, housing is crazy right now. Everything we've been looking at least in the Northwest, has been selling over asking. I actually couldn't find a single standalone home that went under asking. I did find some apartments and stuff like that, but it's nutty. And yeah, I personally don't see how this could last. Like the place we're in right now, I felt we got a great deal on it. We didn't have to pay over asking or anything like that. And so that's why we ended up jumping on it, even though we didn't need a new house. I thought it was too good to be true. Kind of was. We had some amount of like stuff we had to do, but hindsight being 2020, we did really well. And now that the market is so hot, hopefully we'll do well with our current home. I don't know. I'm not trying to like maximize all the money out of it. I'm trying to get out of it so that I can focus on hanging this and making a better show for you guys, because that's where I focus on making my money with our business, as opposed to like, I'm gonna sell real estate and do that kind of stuff. That's just a distraction for what I'm really trying to do. So, hopefully I'm trying to get out of that as soon as I can after the live stream today. I'll be going to clean the garage more. There's just more stuff that we've collected. Like Dean brought over for my wife a rock tumbler. We haven't used it yet, but it's like, okay, that's got to move. Wow, listed a house on Friday, over 80 showings and 25 offers. It's just nuts. I know that, I've had employees buy houses lately, and I know the market is hot, and when we were looking, it was hot too. And it's just, It's not enjoyable, by the way. I just don't find it to be enjoyable. So I try to, hopefully I'll never move again. I never wanted to move from my old house, but those neighbors throwing pumpkins off the roof, which was not good, which I swear, once they, I don't know how they knew, but like once we bought our new place, they were like, yeah, no more pumpkin throwing. They're just like been pretty good neighbors. So I'm disappointed because I could have not moved and we could have just done a lot more in the business and that kind of stuff. And yeah, but you know, it is what it is. All right. Oh, I should address this because like 2 videos. We put out a video and Zenzo put out a video. The multi-test strips should be back in stock. I'm hoping Monday. They're supposed to be here Thursday. We actually air freighted them over, so they were supposed to already be here. I don't know if customs is holding them up or what's going on, but you know, it's any day now. It's hurting our sales for sure. You know, you send everyone like, guess what? We don't have it. And with weather being so good and COVID restrictions lifting, our sales have just gone off a cliff. So that's never fun, but it gives us a little bit of breathing room, so that'll be nice. So it'll probably be enjoyable for about a month, and then we'll be like, all right, we really got to start selling some stuff. You made 2 streams in a row? Well, grats. Danielle Worry. By the way, if any of you are EverQuest nerds, I'm totally going to play the new EverQuest Mischief server. I don't know how much I'm going to get to play. Probably that first weekend I'll play a ton. And so I might make a members only post and figure out a way to just let people know who I am on that server. But I will say, like, no fish questions. I play a video game to get away, and I try to limit myself, but usually I just don't sleep as much. All right. Who wouldn't want Corey as their neighbor? You probably, well, being my neighbor wouldn't be good because you just wouldn't know I exist. I never interact with my neighbors. Like, I don't like being around people very often. It's because I always pack my schedule so tight that I don't have time to make the pleasantries. And so I always look like I always feel like I look like I don't care. And but really it's like I've got a meeting in the next 12 minutes online. Like I don't have time for this. I was supposed to grab something to drink and use the restroom. And so my neighbors usually, they know Katie really well. Katie, you know, she'll go bake them stuff and she'll know everything about a neighborhood. And then I'll be like, who's that person? And she'll be like, don't you know? And plus also every time I kind of open up to the neighbors, it becomes this like, oh, can my blah, blah, blah come in and see your fish room? Like, I'm in the middle of something, I'm filming right now. And then it's always, well, I know a person knows a person that needs help with fish. Like, oh, go to our retail store. Oh, I just thought you could come over. Like, yeah. So I try to, our motto is like, just be quiet, just be good, make sure, you know, our grass is reasonably mowed, and don't infringe on other people. And then hopefully they won't infringe on us. You know, I wave to everybody. I'm totally that, you know, like, try to be a nice guy, but I hope to have enough time where I'm just like rolling around in my yard, looking at grass and stuff and talk to all my neighbors, but that's probably years out. Too busy for that. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Xtreme is coming to the UK, and I'm coming to the UK. I haven't looked at actually I gotta mark that email. I looked at it this morning, but I didn't go to the website, but I think it's October 18th-ish, 14th-ish. I'll be in the UK, and that's to help promote the relaunch of Xtreme Foods over there. So yeah, I'll be there. There's another YouTuber reached out to do like a podcasting with me, and he's in the UK. He's got a store, and so I might do that podcast. I might visit that store. So there might be potential chance to have a meetup in the UK. So if you're from the UK, it might happen. Otherwise, buy Xtreme fish food. Would I come to Australia? Yeah, I would come to Australia. I should, well, I don't know when, but it's in the cards. I think either Xtreme and or the wholesalers want me to come out there and help promote Xtreme, which I'm okay with because I get to meet fans and everything. And promoting is mostly like just me showing up and then being like, yeah, Xtreme paid for me to be here, or this person paid for me to be here. I do like the food. I like it anyway, so it's not a hard gig. It's not like I got to go talk up like API or something that I'd be like, oh, it's terrible. What's in the 800 gallon right now? Right now is Ladybird and like 5 rosy barbs. I think I'm going to. I want to plant some more plants in there. I want to change lighting a little bit. All that kind of stuff. And then I might want to add my various platies. I'll be in England during our anniversary. Oh man, I seem to do that every year. Maybe I'll take my wife with me. It's not very fun though. When I have to work like that, it's not very fun for anyone else. So it's like, yeah, you want to come to England and just be bored out of your mind for 3 days, and then we can spend like one day doing something else for a 14-hour flight. It's not that fun. All right. Yeah, the video with Dean, by the way, it was actually supposed to be an hour, but halfway through recording, there was an audio glitch where basically the microphone wasn't making contact with the thing right, and so it kept cutting out really bad, and so it ended up being like a 20-minute video. So if it seems a little bit like, that's weird, they always do a long video, they didn't touch on everything, it's because there was basically no audio for most of it. And that specific day, we were in a rush. Dean had he had to meet up with people to do some stuff, and so we only had a limited amount of time. And yeah, so can't be perfect all the time unless you're Dean. Has anyone tried the Higger lights or planet tanks? I haven't used one. I took a power meter to it, and it's all right. I'll say this: the when we launch our light, which we're still working on it, and it could take a while, but it's gonna be good. Like I tested a lot of lights versus our light that we're working on. It's good. So unless someone in the next year comes out with a light that just blows my mind, we should be the light that's blowing people's minds. All right. Deluxe Dallas finally made it to a live stream. My name is George. My name is Corey. Welcome to the fish school. All right. Oh man, I'm on the wrong pages. Welcome, Brad Kays. By the way, I've got disappointing news. I don't know if I guys already told you this, but I've been yelling at YouTube. There is no year 3 emoji badge thing, which I think is just the biggest mistake for YouTube. That just seems like the biggest oversight to me. I don't know what to say other than like, wow, get it together, YouTube. Come on. Best light that's affordable. I really like Stingray lights. Yeah. Gonna pick up a few of the Higger lights in the meantime. By all means. Like, the build quality is not there. I don't know how long they're gonna last for you, in my opinion, looking at it and reading reviews. And like, I believe in the year 2021, there should be no aquarium light anymore that just dies to water. Like we have the technology to make them highly water resistant, and any of them that are dying to, an airstone was splashing on it and that kind of stuff is, I don't know. Everyone can invest their money the way they want. I want something that's going to last a long time. Like most of my lights at this point, like the ones in the store, they've been there for 8 years. And so I guess I know I'm a long-term aquarist, so I'm looking for longevity out of stuff. And the same thing like with Dean. Dean uses basically on all of the breeder tanks Stingrays, and then Flueball 3.0s on most of his show tanks. And the way he installs them and custom wires them and does all of that, if they fail, that's a huge amount of time lost into like, okay, I got to remove it, I got to unwire it, I got to wire it back in, I got to do all that. And so, I'm always looking for lots of stability. And I realize other people have different motives, and that might be, well, I only want to spend $20 and it just has to get me through for 3 months or whatever it's going to be. And that's a different, you're just a different hobbyist than I am. And so I'm always looking at for what's gonna last forever, right? I got a purple snail sticker. Now I'm looking for a purple mystery snail. Yeah, they're not too tough to find. The purple mystery snail sticker can only be gotten for free through buying from us. We don't sell that one. Someone did ask if I was going to be at Aquashella. I won't. Zenzo will be, though. Zenzo will be speaking there. Who else is going to be speaking that I know? Tanner of Super Design. Not that I really know him, but who else is going to speak? I think they're still releasing, so I'm not sure. I will say I thought it was lame, their saltwater aquascape thing. Like, it's someone who works for Fritz versus the artist of Aquashella. I'm just thinking, like, how could we not find like actual saltwater people to do this, considering saltwater is so huge in Florida? Like, when you go to all the stores, it's saltwater dominated. And so I kind of felt like, yeah, that would be like me doing an aquascaping event. And I also don't agree I should do one, because it would be like, for me, or for that, it would be like, oh, we're just using Corey from Aquariumcoop for his user base, not because of Corey's aquascape skills, right? Get a Dennis Wong, get whoever the Dennis Wong is of saltwater, or at least get a, like I would much rather have my employee Thatch do one than me, for instance. Like, yeah, you talk with people all day long, you've done some tanks at the store, like, go find some locals to do it, I think is a better thing. So I don't know. Oh yeah, KG Tropicals. Man, I'm gonna catch some messages for that, no doubt. John and Lisa are speaking as well. I don't know what their topic is yet. I don't know if I saw what the topic was, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good time if you go out there. I just won't be, although I did say I'll probably try and go out sometime this summer. I was just answering Xtreme. They want me to come out and check out the farm again and see what's going on. They say breeding season's really just picking up. And I go, well, I really got to get moved into my house. Like, we're still living out of boxes, and it's we really need to settle in. Yeah, Lizzie does good scapes as well. Sure, yeah. That's the thing, is like, find, and I don't know Evie's level of scaping, but I always think it's a little bit weird when you have like someone from the company doing it. Like, yes, she works for Fritz. Sean works for Fritz. He owns Aquashella with Coralfish 12G. Like, it just seems a little like, well, couldn't you find other people? I haven't seen your clothing in the store. Can you start selling it in the store? Yeah, we sell it. It's up above the counter. You can see all of the shirts and hats, and then you just say, hey, I need that shirt in a small, and we go to the other side and we grab it for you, where we have the backstock storage. So that way we just don't have enough space to have like a whole, like, here's all the shirts and everything. I like the 6-month membership. Yeah, we're in that test pilot program. That's something that's newer. I was actually wondering if anyone had done it, because on my side, I can't see whether anyone's ever signed up for a 6-month membership or not. So I have no idea. You could be the only one for all I know. Does the inner seal of an aquarium actually contribute to the watertight seal, or is it just for aesthetics? Does the inner seal of an aquarium... I think it's mostly just a second layer. So what I mean by that is, to the best of my knowledge, which I am not a professional aquarium builder, you have the 2 panels of glass, right? Let's say this is the bottom, this is the side. You can't just put them right against each other and then put silicone in this crack, because it will blow apart. You actually have to leave a little gap, put silicone in between the 2 glass panels, right? But if there's any bubbles, you would get a water leak. So then you come back and you do put another layer of silicone down basically the 90-degree angle where it joins. So that way you've got like a watertight seal behind what you hope is a watertight seal, but the second one is actually meant for holding the aquarium panels together. So, and that's where, like, a lot of times the reptile tanks, right? A reptile tank will only have the seal between the 2 panels and not the one on the inside, because reptiles will scratch it up and could eat it. But a lot of times you go, oh, well, the reptile tank holds water. But it's not really meant to, because it's not built with that second layer, right? And so you can have reptile tanks that will hold water. Doesn't mean every single one of them will, because, oh, there's a little air pocket right there. The panel's never going to give way, but it can still leak water. That makes sense? Could I tell us when there'll be another update video of the fish room again? I don't know. I haven't, I mean, I'm spending time in there, but I'm moving a lot of fish, and mostly my whole goal right now is do everything I can to get away from my old house. Because I got to drive like a half an hour there, then I got to be there, then I got to drive back, and all of that takes up a lot of time. I really want it so I just, okay, I live at my house, and I can, the only time I'm leaving is going to the store and having meetings or things like that, or pick up supplies and really work on stuff here. Like we moved the 230-gallon tank. That happened, I don't know, like Thursday or something like that. And, you know, this is another reason why I don't wear my ring. If you can see my hand here, like I'm missing my knuckle there essentially, because somehow I was the last guy holding the stand as we pushed it into the back of a van, and my hand was caught underneath it. Because it was one of those times where it wasn't like, all right, we're setting it down. Just all of a sudden everyone, because it was really heavy, just set down, and I had one hand underneath it. And you couldn't really get your hands back underneath it, so I just had to pull my hand out, and that's where I ripped off my skin and everything. And that's how, you know, yeah, all the pressure was right here. But had I been into here, I would have crushed a wedding ring. And so, you know, even when I'm not in the store all the time, not moving tanks that often, I still, like, I swear on like a quarterly basis have, because I did it I don't remember how I did it, but I did it to the other hand while working in the fish room as well. It's mostly healed up, but I had that like cut right there. Somehow I just always, what happens is you're either underneath an aquarium and you're like setting it down or a stand, or you're like on the outsides and then you like hit your hand against, you know, like a doorknob or the door plate or something. Like I always seem to be running into that kind of stuff. So, and I've had it where it catches, if you ever had a ring on and you catch like the striker plate on a door, it just, and you just like, your hand falls off what you're trying to carry. It's not good. So, but yeah, so moving stuff over. The fish room, it's not like it's terrible right now, but I definitely got a little bit of cleanup to do. I just moved all the brine shrimp hatcheries over, so I'm looking to set those up today or tomorrow, something like that. Yeah, boah! Exactly. I guess I don't address it very often, but if you're in the chat right now and you'd like to talk with everybody else and maybe have us answer your question or see some of the other stuff that goes on the community page and that kind of stuff, it is $4.99. If you sign up through an iOS device like your iPhone, they're going to charge you like $5.99. So if you go to like a desktop computer and sign up there, you'll save yourself like $1.99 per month or whatever. If you're in a different country, that can cost more, different conversion rates, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can always join the group, and we've got a lot of stuff coming out. Been working on more ideas. I can't really talk about it, but I've had to sign more agreements with YouTube to do some stuff, and so we're working on it. I've actually got an interview coming up. I had the first one with YouTube. I wanted to make sure I wasn't just gonna talk bad about them the whole time, but there's a reporter that's gonna interview us about memberships because we're doing really well. So thank you to you guys for helping us achieve that level. Focus. Yeah, after I just paid $6.99. I know. I wish Apple didn't put that surcharge on there, and they didn't. I hope they'll find a way to fix all that kind of stuff. But wow, thank you for the $9.99. #1 fan. It's $8.99 Australia. My hope is that all of our membership stuff will be worth it. I've got like a list of stuff this long that we want to go through and see, can we implement this? What level does that make sense? Like there's some that like one of the ones I want to try doing. So, you know, if my competitors beat me to the punch, that'll suck. But one of the ideas I have is that you know, you get a free product every time you order from us. You know, which wouldn't help you in Australia yet, but it might. We're working on that. You know, so maybe you're a $20 member or something like that, and every time you place an order, or once a month you place an order, it's like, hey, let's throw in, like, my thought process for this was, let's say we know we have a new product like the multi-test strips. You're a member, right? and you place an order. Well, we can have the code in the background go, hey, first order this month, we want to add on a thing of multi-test strips. So yeah, you would have gotten like a $17 value plus all the other membership stuff that month. But maybe the next month is like, oh, you're only going to get an airstone. So it's like, oh, that's only $3 value. But, you know, so that way you'd get all the benefits, you know, of like, oh, you're in the club and you're getting a free product and you get the live chat stuff and you get the extra videos and you get the community membership and you get all of those other things. Yeah. International shipping at cost for members. That means I'd be charging you more. I don't think people realize that at the moment, we only charge people $5 for shipping. The minimum to ship something for us is $8.80. That's if we don't pay anyone either. So like we're already charging less than we pay. But yes, we are working on, I had a meeting with Randy over lunch. What does it take to very, 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 very slowly roll out international shipping, one country at a time, not even advertising it, just seeing, and one product at a time. Because we have to get country codes, we have to get custom codes, we have to learn about how much is it even going to cost to ship to that country? How long is it going to take? What should we be doing for customer service? So when someone from Bangladesh goes, hey, it's taking forever. Oh, we found it on average takes 7 weeks. Sorry about that. So we can let you know that's coming. And you know, it's a long process. So we are, you know, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but you know, part of what's good about a summer is we do slow down a little bit. When we slow down a little bit, we have a little bit more time to work on some stuff like that. And so we're going to try. We also need a bigger warehouse. One of the things in the meeting was like, we don't have space to have different mail totes, basically big rolling totes for other countries and things like that. What is that going to look like and all of that. So while we're working on it, it could be a while. So, but I'm looking into it. I want to make it so that it's not going to be cheap. It won't be cheap. I'll say that right now. It's not going to be cheap, but at least they'll have that option. Because right now we have people that are ordering and they'll have it shipped to a reshipper in the United States and then they'll ship it to them. So we can hopefully eliminate that. And then, yeah. Give us free vinyl stickers. We're going to give out stickers with purchases. The problem is even sending like an envelope is expensive. But yes, we could find ways to do more things. That's one of our goals. We have not forgotten about international membership at all. Can I suggest a member's video on DIY fry system? So Dean actually gives that as a talk to clubs. And one of the thoughts is, you know, part of our club that we want to launch, right? We have speakers. It would be very easy for Dean to give that presentation on a live stream so that everyone could ask questions and see how to put one together and do all of that, right? I also have the other idea specifically about Dean. What if we had it where the club members, so we did that online, and then we also did another one in person in Washington, where anyone that was local could come to that, and we would supply like maybe all the air valves or something. Like you'd still have to buy your own tank, you'd have to have some of the other parts, but maybe we had a majority of the parts so people could take home a parts kit after watching how to do it. So definitely all you know, we've been talking about that with the community manager, who's still don't officially work for us yet. So, you know, we're just trying to get ready to hit the ground running. So looking forward to it. How much liquid comes out of each pump of Easy Green? I'd have to look at the, so I think it's 1 milliliter. Like I'm 99% sure because the bottle treats 5,000 gallons, has 500 milliliters, 500 times 10 is 5,000. But usually all that information, if I can find the right window, usually all that information is going to be on our website. So if I go to, why is my brain not working today? I can't remember. Oh, plant supplies. That's what I was like. The problem is I'm working on a new website and we're naming stuff, some other stuff. So I'm like, why do we call this? So we look at Easy Green here. Each pump contains 1 milliliter of Easy Green. Look at that right there. And then if it wasn't up there, you can come down, you saw I click directions, specifications, and you can look even further into what you want to know about it. I was right, 2,688 reviews on Easy Green. Not all of them good. I always maintain it's important to have bad reviews too. So, 16 people probably think we're terrible. The product came highly recommended to me by other aquatic enthusiasts. I used it in 3 established tanks. Within hours of adding this, my king betta began to bloat and started gasping. He died hours after adding this fertilizer. 0-10, would not recommend. This is not fish safe. Now, I think most companies would hide that. Like, I firmly believe that this fertilizer is fish safe, considering I use it with tens of thousands of fish every month. But I think that this is the only fair way to do reviews. Like, you gotta let someone vent like this. And so even though we reach out to them, we go, I don't think it's that. Let's try and give your money back and all of that. Yeah. This person didn't get a pump. Hopefully we reached out to him, and what I do hope, if we ever reach out to you because you're having a problem and we make it right, hopefully you'll follow up with your review and go, hey, they made it right. Like, first pump was broken, they sent out a new one. Like, we do that whenever that happens on our own charge. We don't charge anyone or anything like that. So yeah, like this one, Easy Green, all in one, 0 star or 1 star. All right. But yes, information, we try to put as much as we can on our website to make it easy. Well, 4 medium sponge filters and 2 Tidal 110s do the trick on a 125 with 2 Oscars. Yes, you're overfiltering by about 10 billion. Like, 2 sponge filters probably fine. 1 Tidal 110 would probably do it. You've got a lot going on there. So even at full size, like, and if you have gravel, like, that's helping. There's a lot of things helping in that aquarium. So you got a lot going on there. It'll do it for sure. Like, what happens there with all of that going on, you probably have, like, each one's holding about 10% of your bacteria. That's what people don't realize. They're like, I had another filter. Like, now I got twice as much. Like, no, you don't. Like, so think of it this way. If I can eat, let's say it's 10 slices of pizza, right? Well, we bought 10 pizzas. Well, now you can eat more. Like, nope, I can still only eat 10. Bacteria works the same way, right? So it's like, oh, well, we have 10 filters now. How much bacteria can you eat? 3. Oh, we got 20 filters now. How much can you eat? 3. Like, there's only so much load in the aquarium. So adding more doesn't always necessarily up it for you. I have Higger lights on 3 planet tanks. They've been fine. My kid actually dropped 1 in the tank while I was asleep. No problems. Good to hear. Good to hear. Because, like, in the reviews, you see people having trouble with water and moisture. I want to do a monster fish tank, so I was thinking about female tiger bass. Tiger bass? You mean like peacock bass? Tiger bass. I don't know what tiger bass is. How does a water softener change? Wait. How does a water softener change how someone should keep fish? A lot of times it can play havoc with like test kits, like reading softer than they actually are. It also can put salt in the water depending on what the chemical you're using is, and it can kill plants. So, it's probably best if you don't have that. Would the test strips test for salt water? I have no idea. I focus 0 on salt water. And when I say I have no idea, I mean, I tested it with like brine shrimp water and it worked fine. But I don't want someone to be like, well, I switched the Aquariumcoop test strips and my reef died because it wasn't picking up the amount of calcium correctly. Like, I haven't tested extensively in saltwater because we're not a saltwater company. Now, I suspect it would work. But the other thing, like, so we were getting a lot of questions about chloramine because this tests chlorine, right? And I don't have chloramine, so I couldn't test it. The manufacturer officially states, no, it does not test for chloramine. That being said, I had Zenzo, he's got chloramine. I had him use it, and he goes, well, it looks like it does. So it's still inconclusive. Officially, I'm going to say, no, it doesn't, because the manufacturer says it doesn't. So, but over time, you guys might go like, yeah, it actually is. I just don't, like, I could buy a chloramine test kit, but I don't have chloramine to be playing with. So, can tank depths be added to the co-op LED lighting guide? Could they? Yes. Will they? Probably not. Yeah. Because the next step is like, well, then can you measure every par at that? And then it's like, this is why companies don't do it, because it's a never-ending rabbit hole. Like, we might do it with our lights, but it's a lot of work. And once you start making claims of like, Aquarium Co-op says at 12 inches, the par of this light will be this, and then someone else tests it. I'm not getting that. They're liars. Like, we can only look bad. And so we'd have to put an insane amount of work to make that reasonably accurate. And the problem is with light, the spread goes like this. And so is it like, okay, at 12 inches right here, or is it 12 inches right here? Like, the par is going to be 20% different, right? So it's actually a pretty difficult thing to do. Just bought some beautiful Daisy's rice fish yesterday from the store. Any tips on keeping and breeding them? I've actually never bred them. Keeping them should be fairly easy. I would recommend getting your... Dean actually said this to me, and I was like, I felt like we were brothers or something. He goes, I don't get it. I never want pH less than 7. I was like, me too. That's my thing. I never want pH less than 7. And it's because under 7, you just kind of you can start running into problems where, you know, plants can run into problems, fish can run into problems, you can run into bacterial problems, you can run into ammonia changing, and I always want it 7.0 or higher. And so that's always my advice, is like, maybe get a little bit of crushed coral in there, raise it up to 7.0. But, you know, they shouldn't be that hard to breed. Get a spawning mop in there. It should be breed like, you know, kind of like other rice fish, but I haven't done it yet, so I plan on playing with some. Stefan says it picks up my chloramine. Yeah, so we know it picks up chloramine. The only thing that I don't know yet is, do you have another test? So, like, let's say you measure it, right? And out of your tap it says, like, you've got 1.5. How do we know that it's true that it's 1.5? Because what if people are relying on that measurement of 1.5 to calculate how much prime or safe or complete to put in, right? And so I don't want to make a claim of like, yeah, it works, and then it's like, well, it wasn't accurate though, because our stuff is accurate. Smash that like button. Yes, let's do that. Smash that like button. How are we doing on the stats, by the way? Let's see. 251, oh wait, 635 likes. Much better. All right. And 17 new members. All right, all right. I like it. Stefan. Did I say Steven or Stefan? I don't know. How's the dog? Sassy's, I'm convinced she has dementia, doggy dementia. But she's doing pretty good. We've got things are stabilizing in the new house. You know, she's getting used to where things are, 'cause she's kind of blind. And we're getting her on the good routine. Like, when you wake up, you take her over to the potty pad, she'll go potty, and then you can let her roam around, and she'll go lay down if she wants. And, you know, or lately she's been begging for food. We've been making her breakfast. Well, not we, Katie. Let's be real here. Katie's been making her breakfast. She loves that. And but she's been doing pretty good. You know, we've got a couch right now that's like, I don't know, taller than this one, so it's, you know, decently tall. We ordered like a super low rider couch. It's like this far off the ground so that the dogs can get on and off really easy. And but like well, if you guys have bought furniture, you probably know since COVID, like everything's months out. So we're probably like another 6 months out from it being delivered. And so right now we have to like pick her up and watch her when she's on the couch if she wants to be with us and that kind of stuff, which is fine. But we don't want her to like fall off and hurt herself. Oh. It's pronounced Steven. Okay. My bad. Is there a membership goal for the extended live stream? Where are we at? We're at 1 hour in. I think 40. I think 40 is a decent... If we get 40, I'll do the third hour. And then we'll pick out another one. Because I really do have stuff to do, but I do value, like, if you guys invest I'll do it longer. There's no problem with that. My guppies ate algae off the sides of the tank before I bought and used the Meg Float cleaner for you. Now their mouths are black. Should I use Maricin? I mean, is there an actual problem going on? Like, I feel like I'd have to look at guppy mouths to know, like, well, how black are they? Is it like just normal coloration? I wouldn't necessarily just use Maricin unless you saw a behavior change. But yes, live bears are great for eating algae. I love it. That's why I like having algae, and that's why I always tell people they're still eating even when you're out there. They'll eat stuff off the sides of your aquarium, all that kind of stuff. Maybe put pillows on the floor when she's on the couch. Yeah, we used to do that around our bed. We put a rug down, but it's just nerve-wracking, basically. So we just watch her. You know, we've got like doggy beds on the ground that she'll go use sometimes and that kind of stuff. But sometimes like if we're watching a movie, she'll want to be on the couch with us, which is fine. But the lower couch will help. What do you recommend as a food in place of the Cereonip tabs? Get yourself, we're probably sold out because Hikari's been sold out forever, but let me see if we have it. I'll dial it up on the website. You know what I'm saying? We'll go with the foods. And yeah, right here, actually, we do have it. Tube Effects worms, these cubes, you can stick on the glass. Let's see if we have, oh, we don't have a picture, we're bad. I think we have it in a video somewhere. But these cubes, sorry. These cubes you can stick right to the glass and they just pull the worms off just like, well, not just like, but pretty close to Cereonip tabs. I'm glad these are back in stock. A lot of the freeze-dried foods were stuck at the Port California for months. So consider some of those. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching and you haven't. I'm hoarding a sleeve of the OG tabs in my freezer. Collector's item. Have you ever considered making my own brand of electronic water tester? Definitely not. I don't like the electronic versions of like pH meters, TDS meters, that kind of stuff, because the calibration is such a pain in the butt. Like calibrating the instruments is more work than a liquid kit, and I already don't even like liquid kits. So I very much in my life try to reduce everything to how to make it easier, more enjoyable, cheaper. Man, there, finally. I was doing that whole thing, you know, have you ever been in that mode where you're like, maybe if I cough a little bit, it'll clear my throat because I don't want to make a big scene. And then I just kept coughing over and over again, like a little bit. And once I coughed like a normal amount, oh, doing fine now. My wife wants the dogs with you in the studio. She wants them to be roaming. Yeah, if my wife was here, she'd probably bring them in. Yeah. The problem is they get antsy, so we'd have to put some dog beds in, and it is one of our plans to get them to hang out in here more. I kind of want to build some kind of breezeway from the house to here so they can come and go as they want, but we finally got Wincy, who's usually the most scared. She'll finally go in and out of the doggy door herself, which is amazing. But Tinky, like the most fearless dog we have, is too scared to use the door. So we're still working on that at this point. Yeah, ramps for elderly dogs. We used to do ramps all the time. It was no problem, but she can't really see. So if you have like a couch, you got a ramp, and then like it's this much and the couch is this long, she can easily just be like, oh yeah, the ramp's over here. Oh, no, it's not. So, yeah. I've got some weird water parameters. My tap water is super high GH, 10 to 14, but super low KH. How do I add KH and not make the GH skyrocket? Mixing RO with tap water and add alkaline buffer. If it was me personally, I would just add some crushed coral. It'll add a little bit initially to your GH, but long term, once those minerals dissolve out, it's mostly just going to buffer KH in my experience. Like, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, like it'll buffer up KH kind of a lot, and GH just a little bit. Get plants utilizing some of that, won't be a problem for you. Do corridors eat baby cherry shrimp? I think every fish eats baby cherry shrimp. Now, whether it'll eat enough for you to notice, that depends on, you know, how planted it is, how many cherry shrimp you got going. If it's your first colony, get those shrimp going by themselves, and then you can incorporate corridors afterwards if you got a big boom in colony. Have you considered members beta testing your upcoming products for data before selecting release stuff? Yeah, we've definitely considered it. The problem we run into is we worry about, for lack of a better term, intellectual property theft. There are companies that just straight up copy our pricing, our products, which I get it. That's the business world, but we don't want it to leak early where it's like, oh, is they're going to beat us to market? Because let's like our light. Let's take our light for an example. If we show you too much about our light and someone else can find the manufacturer, strike up a deal, and release it to you guys, you will go buy it. Now, what happens if we spend another 6 months and we tweak this and we tweak that and we make this better and we change out the LEDs and we do this and we do that? When ours comes out, people are going, I already bought that. I'm like, no, you didn't buy that. We made it way different. We also run into the problem where I show you guys a product and then I go, hey, it won't be out for another 4 months. Then you scour Alibaba, you scour eBay, you scour Amazon, and someone will find like a knockoff version that's not as good, but then a bunch of people buy it. And then they're going, hey, this isn't working. And so therefore, our product that we're going to launch will already have a negative connotation with it because the product that we don't like, people use and said that doesn't work. So imagine in this world, test strips, right? 3 months ago, test strips are garbage. They don't work. Oh, you only use liquid test kits, blah, blah, blah. All of that, like fish police for years, right? Now release ours, and there's actual like, wow, it's accurate and it could be done, right? But we have to fight that negative connotation for the next probably 5 years because it's already been done incorrectly. And so we have that happen all the time. Like I can bring up a bunch of examples just because it's a talking topic. Like if I look at this right here, right? So a good example would be like intake sponges. You can find, now there's a lot more, I'm going to call them knockoffs, but a lot of these are going to be very fine foam. And people will say like, these don't work. Like they clog up my filter. I'm like, well, yeah, a fine filter one is going to clog it up. Then on a lot of these, what you'll see, and obviously I haven't ordered every single one of these, so I don't know. So if you're like, I use that one, it doesn't work that way, like I apologize in advance. But usually what you'll see is they'll have a hole all the way through them. This one actually looks to be closed on this side, right? But you can already see here, like this, this sponge is not what you would run. So this is an aqua clear filter, it looks like. This is not the size sponge you would want to run on this because it's going to clog up. It's a little bit too fine, and the thinness going around it is a little too thin. This would be like putting our small on a filter this size. It's going to clog up on you. You need to go proportionally sized to the type of water you're going to ram through it, right? And so, yeah, you get, what, 2 of these for $8.99, and your experience, you know, your mileage may vary. Like, what if this hole size isn't the right size? Like, the actual to go around it. So, you know, over time, products are always going to be copied. Things are always going to be done, right? But this size, the 3.1 by 1.6, think about that for a second. 3 inches is this, right? By this. Yeah, 3.1 by 1.6 inches. So 3 inches tall by 1.5 inches wide. Like, but that's not what this seems like here. This seems better than that, right? And then you go to like ours. Let me go sponge filters here, should be right here. So the one that we would recommend would be like the medium. Now, 2.25 inches, right? And 3 inches. So again, it's gonna be that tall, right? But 2.5 or 2.25 inches beefing up the area around it is what's gonna help it. And a coarser sponge as well. Right? And so we obviously keep going bigger, where this one's quite big, the large, right? $9.99. It gets to be, because you need the separation. So the other thing that should be talked about with intake sponges is if you have a very thin sponge and a powerful filter, it can suck things into it. The wider it is, the less shrimp babies, guppy babies, all that's going to suck through a filter. The less food it's actually going to suck through it. You want it to kind of get stuck on the outside, have a fish come and eat it, all of that kind of stuff. So when it comes to testing products, we typically will release to members first, like after we've done our testing, but we don't want people to, just kind of launch something before we're ready to launch it, before our testing is done, that kind of stuff. How do I unwind after a tough day of work? Usually around 9:30, we'll watch something on Netflix. Like, to show you how far behind I am, I'm just now watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, stuff like that. But I'm usually still answering emails and stuff. So it's one of those, like, I'm kind of watching, and then usually about 10:30 or 11, I'll actually put the laptop away, and then I'm just like down to my phone of like checking up on stuff. Sonny, the title is awful. I was so disappointed. Yep, I did a whole live stream on how much title filters I don't like them. I just think there's worse versions of aquaclears personally. I tried to compare the co-op test strips to liquid, but ADD sets in and I leave the test sitting too long. So when I was doing tests, I always use my phone timer, and I literally I go to the stopwatch, and so you can see here I was doing a test strip, and I knew it took me about 5 seconds from setting the test strip down to hit the start button, and I did a couple of videos. Let me show you if you guys care. Let me pull it up. I did a couple of videos, test strips. Of course, they're not showing up. Right, wait. No. Let me find the videos for you. Here we go. So I did some videos that didn't get released to YouTube. They're just kind of on the forum, where I showed using known solution, scientific grade known solution, to test nitrates and then pH. I found this stuff while cleaning out and moving stuff from the old fish room, and so I did, they're like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes each video, to show you at least that both of them are accurate. Now you have to test lots of other stuff, and not everything I had extras of to test, but yeah. So but yes, that's why I still have this up. Is I'm hitting play on accident. I was doing those tests here at this computer just to make those 2 quick videos with my phone, just because there have been a lot of people asking, like, well, how accurate are they? And they're as accurate as I think anyone's ever going to need for an aquarium use. But yeah, with any product, there's always that balance, right? Of like how good or accurate something is versus price, and then versus what is needed, right? And you're trying to, like, oh, well, this thing's the most accurate thing on the planet. It's $7,000. Like, well, that's not going to work for a hobbyist, right? And if you had something that's $2, but it's like, yes, test says this is water. Like, that doesn't help either. So you got to find that balance of where does it make sense for a hobbyist? Where does it make sense for a business? And that's what we try and do. And so we really do strive for accuracy, longevity, value, return on dollar, that type of thing. And we usually get it pretty good, honestly. Yeah, only the best at Aquarium Co-op, so I don't carry the title filters. We tested 26 of them in the warehouse, old warehouse, on all the plant tanks. And not only did I not like them, but all the employees were like, when can we get rid of these? These are terrible, because we had been using aquaclears beforehand. So welcome, Benjamin Blankenship. How many does that make? I wonder how many, if I'm leaving early today. Oh yeah, I got 19. You guys got to come up with 19 more memberships in the next 45 minutes for me to do another hour. How many bug bites can you ship in one box? How many bug bites? I mean, it depends on which type of bug bites you buy. But I think we're only carrying, we're basically discontinuing lots of flue ball products because they can't get most things to us. We have different size boxes. I don't even know how to answer it. I'm just like, probably like 24 in the 0.5 box. I don't know that answer. I've seen some newer videos of the newer Marineland Pro hang-on back filters. I'm trying to decide on trying them out. Do you think they're worth the higher price tag? I have no idea. I don't, what is it? It's called the Marineland Pro hang-on back. Let's see if Amazon's got it. Marineland Pro hang-on back. I'm not seeing it. I see the normal ones. Let me Google it. Oh, I see. How is it that much different than the old ones they were doing? Let's see right here. I see. Oh, I'm on the wrong window. Give me a second. I'll get us there. All right, now we're here. So it looks like you've got flow control, you've got the motor inside the tank, a mid-level intake. You fools. If they don't make that cover so it can be covered up, they've already lost. That's, yeah, this mid, I don't understand why companies think that's a good thing. It's not. It eats fried, eats shrimp. They get clogged up from plant leaves. Like, it's just not good. This is the only thing I can think of is that, like, someone, engineer or someone's like, oh yeah, it's another feature, let's do that. Where it's like, have you ever kept an aquarium before? That thing's just gonna eat stuff. Like, on what level does an intake at the surface make sense when you're feeding floating foods, when you have shrimp babies, when you have live bearer babies, all that kind of stuff? It just doesn't. At least with the tidal, you could close it off. It's still leaked, but you could close it off. Like this, well, maybe the tidal one you couldn't. It was the old Marineland you could close it off. They had that like sweeping piece. And you could move it too because it was modular. You could put it up higher, midway. It used to be the pieces that connected the two intakes. That's where you could put that adjustment. What else I got? Media basket. That's good. I'm glad they have a media basket. Where is it? Oh, right here. Huh. That's interesting place. So the water comes in, it's gonna shove it right into this media basket. So, like, I haven't used this filter, so take that with a grain of salt. But if it was me, so imagine you're sucking up fish poop and stuff, and you're gonna ram it straight into your Purigen, your crushed coral, your whatever, your carbon. No. You want it to come in and get filtered out by flosses and sponges before it would go to your media basket. Like, yeah, you could, biorings, sure, you don't want it to hit the biorings first though. So that would be even more important for it to have an intake sponge on it. So, yeah, it's, so the question is it worth the more money? Probably not. Like, it'll work fine if you own one. I'm sure it works fine. Like, the system itself isn't going to be bad. It's just, is it worth paying more than an average one? Yeah. Oh, and here, I guess I should do that more often. So you got 2.8 stars out of 13 reviews. What do people not like about it? It's not even effective as the original 200. The wheel doesn't get enough water to drag. Oh. Still noisy. When using the medium in the supplied basket, the overflow is crazy. The filter is only 2 days old and it's already clogged up. Yeah, exactly. I didn't even have to, like, just looking at the design, I was like, this is a terrible design. And then you have the customer who uses it and like, guess what? This is a terrible design. Like, my brain just thinks that way because I've used this and I'm like, this is not going to work. Like, and that's why I always, whenever I try to work with companies, I'm like, why wouldn't you use an aquarist or someone like me that knows this? Because I can spot it a mile away. Like maybe the engineers aren't, or maybe they just don't care. Maybe there's like, we need 10 features to put on a page. I don't know what the takeaway is, but yeah. How might a breeder reward program work in the online club? I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do that, if we're gonna do that yet. But in theory, it would be like submit a picture and or a video of the spawn, and then like they've raised up, and everything would have points. And do we have someone to manage it? And how do we know that someone's not cheating? Like, there's a lot of things that go into that, right? So I'm not 100% sure. That's what still stuff to figure out. I have a Marine Lamp Pro. I have older pothos growing out of it on the right side where the media basket is. Yeah, and you can do that with a like an Aquaclear and that kind of stuff too. It's a good hang-on backs. That's a great thing to grow some stuff out of. I do like that, but you know, whether I don't know the prices. I didn't see pricing, so I don't know like worth more, right? I don't know how much they cost. So how do I see? It's got to be like PetSmart or something has it, right? That's Marineland. Here we go. So here we go, right here. Oh, wrong window again. But anyway, like it's only like $41 on Amazon. So the one that's like up to 90 gallons, 75 bucks. That's pretty expensive. I would buy an Aquaclear 110 before I would buy the one rated for 90 gallons. Yeah, I don't know. It's an arms race, and that's why we haven't gotten into hang-on backs. Is what can we do that will actually be different? What will actually make something better, and all of that, and not just be like, look, we made one too, and it has features just like the rest, and it's this price point. Like I don't understand why someone hasn't set themselves apart, and they're just like, look, we made a hang-on back. Everything's reusable. We don't even sell you cartridges. We don't even, like even Aquaclears are like, okay, that's pretty good. But they're like, yeah, you should replace the sponges and the bio rings and the carbon. Like, I don't understand why someone doesn't just win that game. And maybe at some point we will. Like, I've got ideas, and I've already been testing types of plastic we want to use. And you know, there's things like you got to make sure it doesn't hum. You got to make sure it doesn't rattle. There's a bunch of things, like all the nitpicky things that come with a piece of equipment, that when given enough time, hopefully we'll go down the rabbit hole and we'll do. But I don't understand why these companies that have had products like this for 40 years now haven't perfected it. I guess the way I look at it is, why isn't the aquarium industry like maybe the car industry, right? Like I own a Subaru, and every year Subaru puts out another model that basically tries to get better of the previous model. Hey, people didn't quite like this. We kind of want to change this a little bit, trying to make it better every single year. Whereas like a hang-on back filter, Aquaclear is like, cool, let's put out this car in 1996. Let's never do an update to it. And here we are in 2021. When they could be going, oh, let's make this a little better. Like, and there's just things that, like, everyone knows the little adjuster to adjust the amount it tilts on the back of aquarium, like falls off behind the aquarium every time. How hard would it be to be like, hey, look, we attached a strap to it at least, so when it falls, you can get it back underneath there, or heaven forbid, let's make it so it doesn't fall out super easy. There's all these little things that are known problems. They're like, you know, you think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, it's broken. You got to fix it. But instead, they do nothing. And I think they've, you know, it's not like they got to make a new model every year, but how many canister filters, right? So you had like the Fluval 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107. Aquaclears, just the one ever. Like, why is there no attention to it when Aquaclear filters are going to be used by way more people than canister filters will be? I don't know. Because the money's in canister filters? It's not, though. The problem is shipping a canister filter is way more expensive than a hang-on back. And also, you'd rather, it's just all about end dollars. If you sell 10 to 1, 10 hang-on backs to every canister, you're still going to make way more money. I mean, it's one of those things like, I'll just prove them wrong again when we eventually do it. And they'll be like, oh, never saw it coming. All right. In terms of air-driven filtration, do you think a hang-on breeder box filled with a sponge is similar to an AquaClear? I think you could make it similar. There was like some very old school filters that kind of ran that way. I think, you know, some of my favorites that I've never replicated yet, and I really want to, is they actually made the filter inside the aquarium. It wasn't above the aquarium, it was inside, and it would be run by air and go through it all. And every once in a while I see someone who's built a tank like that, and I think it's really cool. I wish tanks were kind of made that way, but it's not as incentivized for money. Yes, don't forget to hit that like button if you like stuff. With the Marineland 5-gallon portrait tank, any tips to filter to pump in the back? I modded it with a sponge filter, but gunk still accumulates in the bottom. Yeah, there's not going to be any way to stop the gunk from accumulating in the bottom unless you're going to get some flow in there. So you could put air stones. You could also build a little bit of a T. So right now you got a little pump sitting down there. It pumps the water back up into the tank, right? Well, you could build a little T that had like a little sprayer that like whisked up the bottom a little bit. But you can do that with air stones. So you need movement in there, more movement in that chamber. I just make my own with adjustable flow pond pumps and use co-op sponge filters. Keep excess running to established tanks. My problems are solved to the point where I'm getting bonus spawns. Yeah, DIYing your own filtration is okay, but you know, not everyone has the ability to do that, and sometimes it takes a long time to make something. So I'm definitely aware of that. Any tips on why my Java ferns grow a new leaf? Wait, why my Java ferns new leaf growth has translucent tips that turn dark green? I would think it's some kind of deficiency. I'm not sure without looking at the chart though which one it's going to be. Yeah, just make sure it's getting enough fertilizer. Welcome back, Wild Siren. Becoming a member. Best light for a planet 33 long? Everything I've tried has been way too powerful. Being that it's like it's a 10-gallon footprint, or not footprint, but height. So almost every light's gonna be really strong. You could either A, go with like a Fluval 3.0 and turn it down to like 10%, or B, we always ran a Stingray, which was still like medium to medium high light, but it worked out well for us in the store. So we always ran that. How concerned should I be with discus and highlighting? I have a Twinstar 1200 S2, and I'm considering getting discus. They can do all right. If you can tone that light down, put some diffuser paper or something like that, that wouldn't hurt. They prefer to be a little more dim, but I've seen it done in all types. Yes, don't forget, you can receive a text message every time we go live or release a video by checking out the link in the description, signing up. We don't spam, we only send out when we do that, so don't worry. Make an AquaClear with an internal motor. I'm not a huge fan of the internal motors. I want the least amount of stuff in my aquarium. People assume so I think that's one of the big problems is a lot of people assume that's the only way to do it. There are ways to make motors not lose suction. Look at cancer filters. They don't lose suction when the power goes out. Like, there's ways to do these things. Everyone assumes you got to put the motor on the inside. I would want it on the outside with it not losing suction. To me, that's the better win instead of like the compromise. I saw your video about food. Do you feel the flueball goldfish bug bites are a good staple food? Yeah, they're a good food. I think honestly most foods are just fine for goldfish and most fish in general. Outside of some of the worst possible, like Wardley type, low quality budget foods in general are good. And so, I honestly, I think about this all the time. Like, obviously I've got a good thing going with Xtreme and I really like their foods, but honestly, I really love Vibrobites. I was thinking about like, I need Hikari to somehow sponsor me or I don't know. I just want to do something big with Vibrobites. Vibrobites, I still think, are one of the best foods that have ever been made. I really like them. I keep thinking about, what if we had the Vibrobite in that little like worm, bloodworm shape, but it was krill, the krill formula from Xtreme. Like, oh my God, mind blown. That would be like the best, I think. But for all I know, Hikari's got a patent on that little bloodworm thing or something. I don't know. But I think it's really good. I really like them. Can you get large bags of shrimp food and guppy food from Hikari? Can I? Yeah. The problem becomes, it's hard to remain profitable. And what I mean by that is, so with some companies, I don't know how some companies get stuff so cheap. We've got a lot of buying power, but some people will sell them at like below cost, and we get pretty good pricing. It used to be when I first started, I was like, okay, I'm just not getting good pricing, and now it's like, I don't know, we're getting really good pricing, and unfortunately, food falls off the back of a truck and does that kind of stuff, and can run for under wholesale costs. And it's like, it's really hard to compete with, and it's usually on that bigger bag stuff, and then the whole shipping part of it makes it really hard. We're like, it's a 2-pound bag of food, and we sold it for $40. It cost us $36, and the shipping was $9. Like we're negative $5 on that. Now it can work for some companies because they'll ship it slow, right? They'll ship it snail mail, where it's like, here's USPS or UPS ground 22 day, and it's like, yeah, that'll get you there eventually. But we ship everything fast. Are Vibrobites better than Xtreme? They're not better. They're just different. You know, it's like, it's not that pizza is worse than Mexican food. They're just different. I always have it in my room to feed, and I feed it probably, I feed like every food kind of like a couple of times a week. And so, yeah, I think a variety, and just like my own eating, right? Like I don't just eat Mexican food every day. It's like, oh yeah, I had a couple times this week. Maybe I'll have something else. Oh, I want a sandwich today. I'm going to go have a sandwich, right? And I think by having a variety, one, it gives different foods to feed, so like different modes, right? So maybe Vibrobites is easier for a ghost knife to eat versus an algae wafer is easier for reticulated hillstream loach, right? Versus flake food, right? Flake food doesn't make a whole lot of sense for your cichlids. Like they can eat it, but it's not like enough for them. There's all these factors go in. By doing a variety, I kind of hit all of them. So I really like them. That's all I can say is I really like them. I really like Xtreme food. I fed Xtreme yesterday, and I'll probably feed it today. Who knows? You know, they're both really good. Just put a check valve on the hang-on back filters. Check valves won't work because eventually you'll get gunk building up, and it won't close. Same reason you can't use them in aquariums. Like when you're trying to do sumps, you can't use it because eventually a snail shell or mold will build up, and it won't close anymore. So, yeah, it's a problem. Welcome, Twisted Memories. So every day you get a name with 2 Z's in it. Which food is best for color enhancement? Krill flakes or Vibrobites? Krill really brings out reds. Vibrobites are solid too. If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the krill. Yeah, but I never chase color. I chase like ultimate water conditions and just making stuff really happy, and then it looks awesome. So, yeah. Will Aquariumcoop ever include saltwater? I hesitate to say never, but highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, I would say. Let someone else be the Aquariumcoop of saltwater. Hi from Australia. Ooh, another Australia fan. 300-liter small community tank. One day I'll convert to liters. Just not today or this year or the next 10 years. How would you know which nutrient is missing if floater leaves are becoming white? Also, are you ever going to ship to Israel? I know a few people who want to get some Easy Green and shirts. So white usually is not enough nitrogen. That's what floating plants run out of first. As far as shipping to Israel, hopefully we're hoping to ship worldwide once we get it figured out. We're working on that. So my water quality is much more stable since I stopped gravel vacuuming. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I could do a whole rant on people trying too hard, cleaning too much, doing too much stuff. Like, yeah. I'm very much on let nature kind of do its thing, learn from nature, learn where to embrace nature instead of fight nature. And a lot of times water parameters is one of those. Ooh, welcome, Alphonse. New member. How's my daily 1 hour challenge going? It's going good. I think when I posted on the community post, there was a bunch of people that weren't in the live stream last week, and so they missed it. They're like, I got fish tanks in my bedroom. I spend all day. Like, that's not the same thing. Like, just because I sit here and I'm in Excel spreadsheets for 24 hours a day doesn't mean I'm got my hands wet in Ladybird's tank. So I'm talking about, hands getting wet, really doing stuff. Like, yeah, you could sit in front of a tank and watch it. Like, if you just sit down, pull up a chair and like watch and observe and feed and really observe, that counts. But just because I have if I have a tank in my living room and I watch a movie, that doesn't mean I'm spending quality time with the fish, right? And so I think a lot of people glaze over, like, no, I'm spending the time. Like, but are you? Like, just because I mow my yard, which I don't even mow my yard at this point, but let's say you mow your lawn once a week. Just because you mow your lawn once a week, are you in tune with that lawn? Do you notice, oh, that anthill? Did you notice, oh, that's happening over there? Do you notice weed? Do you notice, oh, that's going on? Did you roll around in the grass? Did you look at it? Were you actually part of it? Most people would be like, I mow my lawn, therefore I spend time. Like, but are you? So, and I get that not everyone's got a full fish room and maybe it's not an hour, but making that dedicated time, if you got one tank, maybe it's 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day where your hands could be wet. Maybe you're testing water, you're servicing a filter a little bit, scrubbing a little bit of algae, moving a tank a little bit, propagating a plant, any of that. That's the kind of time. And I've been spending lots of time doing that. Every day it's at least an hour. Now, that being said, I count any fish room. So my current fish room here, or like I spent 5 hours in the old fish room, but did I get wet? Yeah, my pants were soaking wet by the time I was done because I had to catch out like 4 billion endlers from the old turtle tank. I had to get my ellipsifer eel out. I had to catch Rominose tetras and the black metallicus live bears out. And today I'm going to go back. I've still got there's 2 adult guppies and 1 baby in 1 tank. And there's probably a few straggler endlers I missed. I'm going to catch the rest of those and bring those up. But then I'm still, I still got to feed and do stuff here. And that's where I'll really count the time because catching those fish shouldn't take too long at the old place. Yeah, to even watch the grass grow. Yeah, exactly. It's, I don't know how to explain it other than when you're really genuinely spending time investigating your aquarium, stuff like that, you're going to learn so much more than just, well, of course I have 10 aquariums in my room and I'm in my room all the time. I appreciate them. Yeah, that's not the same as really learning and exploring though. Appreciating is different, Did that turtle egg you found moving the turtles ever hatch? The ones that just came in, they take at least 3 months, so it's still in the thing. I just brought the incubator over yesterday. It's on my list to set up a breeding box for them, so that way the turtle eggs can't drown before I find them. All right. Where was that question I just wanted to answer? Oh, did Metallicus libears get more black on the chin? I ended up getting a couple pairs from the store because they had more black on the chin. So now they're here. Hopefully I start breeding them out. Where are you keeping the turtles and the Rominose tetras now? The turtles are in one of the totes. And the Rominose tetras, where did I put them? In a 40 breeder with the ellipsifer eel for now. But they're going to go in the 230 gallon when I finish setting that up. Corneas of male candy, a cheese and wine sampler? Nope. Ain't got no time for that. How do I feel about the Fluval Flex tanks and the internal filters? They're okay. And what I mean by that is like any tank that has internal filtration, it's only okay for me because I'd rather have had the space for the fish and then use the hang on back. I like being able to remove a filter and clean it if I want. I like to be able to get in there with like the space whenever they make the false walls, it's never quite wide enough. It's always, how can I make this work, instead of I really love how this works. You know, if you ever have to change that little pump, it's a real pain in the butt. So I do like those tanks, and they are a great all-in-one tank. However, given a choice, I would rather have it without. But I don't have that choice, so. Welcome, Anchor Fist. I was gonna say first, and I was like, no, it's fist. Yeah, get your sleeves wet. I have to change. Yep. Although it's so warm and in my fish room, it usually just dries. What kind of turtles? Did I get a fly river? Nope, I haven't gotten a fly river. They are mini musk turtles. Taco Hangry is a new member. Do you have a new animator? No, actually, this was one of the stock animations for this software, and I was like, how appropriate. I'll use that. I actually tried to get, I'm still looking. I wanted to get someone on Fiverr to do a Hank Hill voice, like welcome membership type of thing, but couldn't find anyone that was close enough yet. My dog caught a squirrel and brought it into the house. I've had squirrels in my house before, like twice, I think, in my life, and squirrels lose their minds when they're stuck in a house. Like, not even stuck, just like in a house. You know, you got the you got the door open and they're just losing their mind, crawling up your curtains, doing all the crazy like screeching. Yeah, I can only imagine after a dog chased it and did whatever it did to it, it would be losing its mind even more. I would skip the Fluval Flex if I could go back. I mean, they're a really good all-in-one tank. For a lot of families, it is a great aquarium. But if you get into that multi-tank syndrome, maybe it's not the one for you then. I had a cat bring in a flying squirrel. Do those exist? Like, is that like, I know a flying squirrel exists, but what I'm saying is like, what part of the world where flying squirrels are just like wild? Like, I always aren't flying. What am I thinking? I think I'm mixing up with like more like sugar gliders, but that's what I'm envisioning, like a flying squirrel that's like a sugar glider. Is Eleobiopsidae super contagious? Should I worry about my Amano shrimp as well as my cherry? Typically, Amano shrimp are raised in brackish water, so they don't usually have Eleobiopsidae, but it can be contagious. I don't think it's super duper contagious, so usually I just try and quarantine off any that would have it. But luckily, our source, I haven't seen any in years coming in from our source, so I haven't really had to deal with it. I had a nest of them in a tree behind my house when I was a kid. Flying squirrels sound awesome. New Jersey has flying squirrels too? Nice. The only thing I miss about like probably New Jersey, I don't know if New Jersey has it, but Pennsylvania is fireflies. Fireflies for like a dude who's kind of into nature are mind-blowing, especially when you see like 4 billion of them. We don't have those on the West Coast, and that's definitely a feather in kind of the East Coast cap of fireflies are sweet. They just like, they're like a mythical creature to me. I don't know why they are so fascinating, but I can't even wrap my head around like, how do they produce light? What is this? This is magic. Yeah, I always nerd out and just like love to sit outside and yeah, watch fireflies. I've only done it like a couple times ever, but they're super cool. Yeah, I saw them for the first time this year. My mind was blown. Yeah, I I think the first time I saw it was when I went and visited Dorcula's mom. She used to live in Pennsylvania, and We were there for like 10 days or something, like a family reunion, and it just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than like, I was probably like a kid or something. Like, just, like you know they exist, but seeing them in person, it's insane. Wait, Washington has flying squirrels? I've never seen one. Huh. I only get like big bushy tailed ones. I don't know. Fireflies come with mosquitoes? Didn't know that. Time to go give the country their ice cream shipments? Seems like twisted memories in the ice cream game. I like it. Yeah, in Ohio in here, didn't realize parts of the U.S. didn't have fireflies. Yeah, I don't know how much doesn't, but I think it's all the West Coast doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, they're crazy to me, and I always like I up until like it was probably like 10 years ago now, but I always assumed like I only ever saw them in movies where they're like, having a mason jar or something. Like I don't know. Seeing them in person was, I don't know. It obviously left a really big impact on me because I think about them kind of often. I'm like, man, wish we had fireflies. Those things are cool. Although I'm glad we don't have like, what is it like? Some of those states have like cicadas and stuff where it's just like, what are these crazy bugs in way too many numbers? This, I don't know if I could tolerate. Will I ever ship live fish? Unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Especially since like we've got a kind of a partnership with Aquahuna, and I also don't want to take over the entire industry. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, they do the fish, they do retail stores, they do this. Like not only will we likely get worse, but two, we'll just catch more hate. Like every facet you enter, you got another group of players trying to hate on you. Yeah, so scared of this year's brood of cicadas. Yeah. Oh wait, the cicadas are coming out this year after their 17-year nap? Is that when it's like the horror movie where you can't even see because there's so many cicadas and you're trying to drive through? Let me know what states that happens so I can make sure not to visit this year. It like just seeing it makes my skin crawl. I mean, I'm sure it's not that bad, but it's not good. Thinking about it's not good. Yeah, bugs are amazing. I remember as a kid, we went to like I think my family took a drove to like Nevada, which when you're like 12 or 14 is like the worst vacation ever. Anyway, I think we stayed in a place in California, just like a hotel or whatever, and there was a praying mantis on the window screen. Blew my mind. Praying mantis, pretty cool looking. I didn't realize how like savage they were until you research about them like later in life. Like whoa, they rip the heads off of stuff. I think in a different life I could be one of those like bug nerds where it's like, check it out, I got all my stick bugs, I got my praying mantises, I got my dung beetles here, I got my thing here. Check out my millipede. So it looks like I can't go to Cincinnati, Maryland, and New York. Can't go there either. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna avoid all of the East Coast. I'm not leaving home. That's it. Not leaving home. I'm under cicada quarantine, quarantining myself out of fear of cicadas. Have you ever tested stacking 2 sponge filters? I've got 2 double larges in my 150 that I keep seasoned for quarantine tanks. Not my primary filtration. Figured you've tested the flow. I haven't. You would think I would, but I don't like to use them that way. Zenzo's used them a bunch that way. With a power head, it's going to be much more efficient, double stacking, triple stacking, that kind of stuff. But as far as air going, not as efficient. But how do I explain this? It's going to be long-winded, but really, you're just wanting it to not clog up. Sponges with no flow at all will still grow bacteria and they'll still process stuff. So usually when you're moving air or power head or something like that moving the water through, you're collecting a lot of fine debris, and you're just making sure that never clogs. Having a dual stack, yeah, you'll have a lot of bacteria in them, and yes, you'll be moving water through them, but you'll be able to go a long time between servicing them, basically. Welcome, Rogue Aquariums. A little late. Better late than never, my friend. Whew, we only got 11 more minutes. Let's see, do I have to go clean my garage next? Is that what I have to do? Let's see, let's look at the membership totals. We only got 26, so we'd have to pick up 14 more. Looks like I gotta go clean my garage in the hot. It's been unusually hot here. We've gotten good weather early, and that sun just baking that garage. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. It's Sunday. I gotta change out of my flippy floppies that I'm in, put socks and shoes on, and go get dusty, because everything's covered in wood dust. That's the other crappy part about it. Ugh. It's possible to have good buffering capacity while still maintaining lower pH. I find the things like wonder shells and crushed coral add to the pH. Crushed coral will raise pH. Wonder shell shouldn't move pH at all for you, though. That should only add hardness. But is it possible to do that? I'm just gonna say, yeah, no, it's not. It's too hard. It's too hard to pull off. Like, you'd have to start from really low, buffered up with like crushed coral to get the pH where you want it to be low enough, but then also be stable enough. It's just a real pain. But again, I always want my pH 7 or higher. Bacon? Yes, I'd eat some bacon right now. Bob found the best bacon at Fred Meyer's. It's a maple bacon, and he brought me some last weekend, and we just had it this week. So good. Tastes like candy. Candy bacon. Do I have any experience with Stephanon Anier? I don't. I just saw him actually in our product list of, we call them Stephanon Annies. And Robert probably has more experience. We probably brought him in, but I've never kept him, so I don't have like in-depth experience with him. Your clean garage is the worst? Yeah. The problem is, I mean, I've gotten a lot of it out. It's not that bad anymore, but I've been putting some serious time in there. And yeah, you just realize like all the stuff, like, why do I still have this? And we did the classic, like, you open this box, you're like, this is from 2 houses ago. Why is this still a thing? And I put down the ultimatum. We're not moving anything to this new house that we don't go through. No more like, oh yeah, just bring it along, just bring it along. I found like bank stuff from 14 years ago. Like we were not hoarding, but just keeping way too much stuff. Because every time we move, we never had time to go through stuff. And this move, we've had about a year at this point. It's like 9 months or something, but it's been brutal. I never want to move again, honestly. I'm usually very content with where I live. Like I tried to buy a smaller house last time, and short of needing this building for like work, I actually like having a small house because it's easier to kind of keep clean. You keep less crap around that you're just like, oh, I don't use that. Put it in that room that we don't really use. Like, yeah. So, but I do love. So while I love a small house, I do love lots of yard and distance from my neighbors. Like, it's great. I haven't even met the neighbors on one side yet. It's awesome. Like Katie has, and we got caught walking our dogs 2 nights ago with the other neighbor. She's a nice lady, but had to do the whole 15-minute like making small talk, like, oh yeah, just walking the dogs. Yep, just moved in. Yep, settling in just fine. Oh yep, and they're talking about like the neighborhood book club and all that. And my wife will enjoy it, but for me, I'm just like, let's get back to walking the dogs. I could be looking at my koi. I could be doing anything right now instead of talking about book club. So that's Katie's side. Does anyone in the chat know which intake sponge I should get for my AquaClear 50? David, you want to get the medium. At least that's what I would do. When you go to the 70, I upgrade to the large. The mini one, I think that one can get clogged up and is a little too small personally. That's my own personal. I always use the medium on the AquaClear 30s and 50s. Is it possible to have a phobia of small talk? I think I do. I mean, I bet you I could be studied. I really, really hate talking on the phone. I really hate small talk because in my mind, I'm like, I've got more stuff to do. So I don't know if that's like, I'm just crazy busy or if that's actually like a phobia or like a problem with me. But like, we were trying to, Katie was going to give away like there was stuff that when we moved in, like stuff to like recover asphalt and stuff. And I was like, man, we should get rid of this. We're going to sell the house. Like, no one else is going to want this. She's like, oh, I'm going to give it away. And even she knows, like, I'll give it away tomorrow while you're doing the live stream. So if anyone comes, you don't have to talk to them. Because she already knows I don't want to talk to people. And I think part of my phobia is whenever people would like come to our house, it's always like let's say they're delivering a package and they're like, here's your package. And then they'll be like, is that a giant aquarium? Yes. What's in there? I have an aquarium too. And you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm still in like my pajamas and now I'm like, and you'll get those people that are accidentally like, I'm gonna come in and look at that. Like, no, buddy, my dogs are losing their mind right now. So I guess I always have that. My fear is always that, it's always going to turn into this like long drawn out thing. And half the time it does. Introverts tend to hate small talk. I'm pretty sure I'm an introvert. Like in most aspects of my life, I think so. I don't know. Uh-oh, check my messages. I got a surprise for me. Let's see. Could be good or bad. Oh, nice. Nice. I've been trying to get. Let me see if I can find a way to make this picture bigger without. I can't. I'd like give my wife's name away and. Oh, wait, that might work. My wife got me a face mask I've been lusting over for quite a while. It's the Jack in the Box one. I just think it's super cool to have the all black with just the Jack head on it. Nice. I just thought it was funny. So I'm gonna rock that thing when I need to. Even though it's like, well, we still have it at the warehouse and work and stuff, but yeah. Has anyone recognized me? Yeah, I've had it happen. I mean, it happens a lot if I go to a pet store. But if I go to, like we had it happen when I was in Maui on vacation. I've had it happen a few other places. And it's actually not bad. Like that's actually kind of fun and cool. It's for me, I just don't like people in my own home space. I really just don't like that. That's why I have a whole building where it's like, oh, we need to have a business meeting. Like, no, don't come in my house. Don't do that. I've got this whole building because it's just my personal space is about the only place I can actually unwind, and just not have to worry about having to be on, right? So, yeah. Any ETA on the large sponge filters coming back in stock? Any day. So, supposedly we've got a 20-foot cargo container filled with nothing but sponge filters. They were supposed to come in yesterday into port, but it can take anywhere from 10 minutes to weeks and weeks and weeks to clear the customs. And so, could be tomorrow, could be in a week. We sold way more than we anticipated. It worked out. So basically, the way the story goes is, with COVID and all that, we ran out of products, and it was hard. So we ordered an insane amount. I wanted at least 6 months inventory in stock. We did that. So then all our competitors were running out of product. So we started selling way more product. And so we had a bunch of sponge filters made early in the year. And then there was like COVID still delayed manufacturing, still has delayed stuff coming over. And so now we've got them already on the way and everything. But we were supposed to have sponge filters till like, I don't know, August, but we sold them so fast we ran out now. So there's about a 7-day delay. And we try to keep it where we sell like 3 months worth, buy 3 months worth, that kind of thing, right? But we sold 6 months in 3 months. And so that's what leads us to being out a week. Because and we've talked about this in a meeting. It's like, how dumb do we look right now when Corey's always harping on people Fluval and other people being out of stock on stuff, and here we are out of stock. And I go, I know, this is, and I basically just yell at ourselves, I'm not yelling, but I basically critique ourselves, like, we have to get better. We got to carry 9 months. Like, we have to be the example. We have to, it's great that we made all this money. And yes, I realize there was a pandemic, and there was, Chinese New Year and all these things, all these hurdles. I told Randy, we know why we don't have them right now. We're going to be out for a week, but the customer doesn't care. Even if we tell them, they'll have compassion, but it still doesn't mean we get the product in their hands. Like, there's no excuse. We just have to get better. And that just means we're going to invest more money into more product. I'm going to have more cargo containers on my property. We're going to store more stuff at the warehouse. We're going to pay more in taxes. We're going to do all of that to, try to practice what we preach. And that is, don't run out of stuff. So we are, and you guys see it all around. You go to Home Depot and you're like, what do you mean you're out of screws? What do you mean you're out of this? What do you mean everyone's out of everything? And even though I saw this coming a year ago, and what I didn't anticipate how fast stuff would sell when our competitors ran out. Like, I knew there'd be an uptick. I didn't realize how much of the market we were missing out on that just funneled all the way down into us, and all of a sudden we were selling crazy fast. And unfortunately, with new manufactured products, and there's Chinese New Year's, and there's all these delays, we saw this coming in December. We already put all the wheels in motion, so we were placing orders in December, and it's just now landing here month 5. It should have landed months ago, but everything kept getting held up. Even right now, there's container shortages and their ports are overbooked. And that's why Hikari had to sit out there for like a month on the water, because they couldn't get into the California port. It was just too backed up. So hopefully soon. That's the goal, is soon. And so not only do we have a 20-footer coming in, we have a 40-footer coming in next month of more sponge filters. So we're going to build those coffers back up as much as we can. So getting aquariums and glass right now is a nightmare. Yes, it is. The supply chain on most products worldwide is in a chokehold. And it's not that nothing's flowing, it's flowing delayed, and it's difficult, and it costs more. Like, it's crazy. Right now, like, we've been able to get some pink flamingos, as you guys have seen, and we've gotten some more moss mats. So we got Java moss, by the way. Go buy it while you can still get it. But we're paying more for the flights than we are for the plants. Because right now, to fly plants over is like $1,900 for not even that many plants. And it's because there's so few flights and all of that. So it's just, not only is it hard to get stuff and there's limited flights, it's costing more. It's just been brutal. So I'm looking forward to a day when it's like, what do you mean nothing went wrong this week? All right. Yeah, just-in-time inventory is why Ford is laid off. Yeah, we try to not have just-in-time inventory. We're trying to be 6 months ahead of time, which is, every business practice would tell you that's a terrible idea. My accountants tell me it's a terrible idea, and then we sell it, and they're like, you're a genius. And then they'll go back to tell me I'm an idiot, but I know that there's one core truth, and that is you can't sell something you don't have. And so if I don't have it, and we see it right now, like, we released a video, we talked about test strips. Zenzo released a video, talked about test strips. We don't have them. That's just bad business, and nothing we can do about it, though. Test strips should be in any day. Could be tomorrow. I don't think FedEx, DHL, I think it's DHL. I don't think they deliver on a Sunday, so. I mean, you could check right now. Maybe they come in on a Sunday, but looking like tomorrow, probably. Would the front pane of glass of a leaking 125 be okay to use for a window in a pond? Yeah, should be. Well, depends on how much pressure is going to be on that pond. So size kind of appropriately should be no problem. That being said, if you've got this, like, the world's biggest pond and all that pressure is coming on that little panel, that could be a problem. Hey, there's Andy. Andy Bureau, by the way, is the owner of Xtreme. So you guys in the chat right now could be talking with the owner of Xtreme. I actually don't, is it Kita or Kata? Kata and I are waiting for a refrigerator ordered in January. Still not here. We ordered a freezer 4 months ago because our freezer, if you're a retail store customer, our freezer broke. And we ordered a $5,000 freezer, and it took forever. It's finally in. It just came in like last week. It has taken forever to get here. And I only bought from them and I paid more because they said they had it in stock. And it's like, you son of a gun. You did not have it in stock. How dare you, webrestaurant.com? But do we have a link to our internal ponds or indoor ponds? We do. It's probably on some of the videos. I don't have it right handy, but Daco is where I buy them from. It's a 600-gallon pond. Yeah, it'll probably work just fine. Let's see. Yeah, it's also a problem like for brine shrimp. We have to get refrigerated cargo containers to come over from China, and containers right now are hard to come by. The company I bought our containers from to store stuff, they email me every couple of weeks, you want to sell them back to us? You want to sell them back to us? They're worth more to move cargo than they were a year ago. So, yeah. Ask car dealers if having inventory is a bad idea. I don't know how that works, actually. I could be surprised either way, because I know there's like lot fees and storage, but then there's like you get credit for storing more cars. Like, I don't know how that works. It's a world I don't know. Bulk Containers Express ship the same containers. All right. Yeah, DACO I think is DAACO. Maybe it's just 1A. But yeah, possibly the Bulk Containers Express. I don't know. I haven't looked at that website. Why are some Aquaclears branded Fluval and some aren't? To the best of my knowledge, the reason they did that was to get around contracts. So I think they had contracts where, like, an Aquaclear filter can never be sold for less than $50 by anyone, and we'll all agree to that. And then I believe they just sold Fluval filters to PetSmart and Petco to let them sell at whatever price they wanted. So they didn't break the contract, but still threw us all under the bus. I think that's the reason those came out. So, and they did that with a few other things too. Oh, they don't have inventory and they can't get parts to make cars right now. Nothing to sell. Well, I'm glad I'm not in the car market, I guess. But yeah, and that's the thing is there's so much uncertainty in business right now on, like it's like playing 4D chess of like, okay, so how many of our fans and customers work in the car field? They're laid off right now. What does that mean? Does that mean they're going to spend more money this month with their aquariums because they're at home and they want to? But that means months 3, 4, and 5 they won't because they didn't have the income. I don't know. It's really, we're trying to guess and just extrapolate that over every sector, like teachers and nurses and just every type of job. And like, are you a restaurant worker? Are you this worker? Are you that worker? And it's so hard to forecast. On one hand, we're going, with the pandemic, maybe we'll go out of business. Maybe we have to shut down all the way and we need all the money we can. And then maybe it's like, we were an essential business and everyone was buying more. We need more stuff. So we could go either way. And if you guess the wrong way, like we stocked way up and then we had to close down, we go out of business. So you're trying to I got to be honest, like that first month, that March, April month, stress level through the roof of like, what are we going to do? How long can we sustain all of our employees if we had to? What can we do here? And it was real tough. Honestly, it was really tough. But it got better. Like, yeah, we're an essential business, but were they going to change things? In Washington State in general, they were changing things like by the week. It's like, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, this is not going on, this is going on. You get paid well just in overtime? Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, that's what we were going to do. We were just going to pay our employees and try to hold them. I think at the time, I worked it out that we would bankrupt at 3 months, but we could pay, without any other assistance, we could pay all of our employees for about 3 months with no income before we'd have to bankrupt. And so that's where we were trying very hard not to do that and just doing what we could. And luckily, it worked out really well for us. But yeah, it was, even though it was working well at the time, every day, and even today, there could be a new law or a new thing that radically changes what we do, and it could still be very, there's always that stress in the back of your mind. Like, is it a good idea to buy $60,000 in brine shrimp right now? Like, that was one of the big decisions. In December, we had to buy $60,000 in brine shrimp eggs. Like, that is an absurd amount of money. But to make sure it got here in time so we didn't run out and we could secure the refrigerated cargo container and all of that, like even right now, I'm still like swimming in brine shrimp eggs, but we didn't run out. So, there is that good news because it's harder to get those over than it is like test strips. The good news is I think we shipped via air like 2,000 of these. Having to have refrigerated brine shrimp eggs, you can't just ship them over. It's rough. I'm in the car business. Profits have never been higher and inventory has never been lower in New England. Makes sense, kind of like with options going down, you get that like, I better buy it or we're not gonna be able to get one, right? But what I wonder about your industry and my industry right now, we're going through it right now, is weather's getting nice. People spent so much money in the first, let's say 4 months comparatively. Now are we going to see this big decline because everyone already loaded up on sponge filters and all the stuff they needed so that, we're going to have a rough summer, and you might have the same thing. So, no one really knows. It makes it really hard to plan. So. Yeah, don't forget your earplugs are swimming in brine shrimp eggs. Yes. I work for a fiber internet company. It's never been busier. Everyone is going to school from home. Yeah, it took me a long time to get fiber put in for here. So to be able to live stream from this home, originally we only had internet. So if I bought just the best internet package I could buy at the time, I could get 2 megabytes up and 75 down with lots of interruptions. They had problems. And so if you don't know a lot about the internet, 2 up is potato phone. So the minimum to do what we're doing right now, the bare minimum would be 8. If it ever dropped below 8, it would just get super pixelated and you'd get lagging and drops and all of that. So we had to pay the business had to pay. We spent $10,000 and we had fiber run to this house. We're the first home residence that they've ever put fiber in for. And so, but we started that when we bought the house last August. And we just got this internet probably a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago now, probably 6 weeks. 6 weeks ago. So it was a very long, that was part of the reason we didn't move very fast, because once I moved here and we get rid of the old house, I have nowhere to live stream, right? So that was part of the whole long moving and just stuff like that. It's really hard because we paid for that, right? So rewind, back in August, we're still only like 3 or 4 months into the pandemic. Does it make sense to put $10,000 in cash down on internet, knowing, are we even going to be here? Are we going to be around? Is this going to work out? You just kind of have to take that leap of faith of like, well, we're either all going down together or we'll be ready to go once we get on the other side of this thing. And so luckily it's been, lots of things have been working out. There's things that haven't worked out too. There's that, but more things work out than don't work out. And I think that's how you run a successful business is, if 7 or 8 out of 10 things work out, usually you can keep moving forward. If you get down to 5 or 6 things working out, some of those losses can be bigger than the gains and you are working backwards. What's my favorite headset to wear during a live stream? I've noticed you change them sometimes. This one I'm just testing out. Well, not testing out, like I bought it so basically what happens, I wear headphones majority of the day when I'm out here. And that's because I'm editing video and that kind of stuff, or I'm in conference calls. And so all the ear pads and stuff on my old set, they had like that fake leathery stuff and it all was chipping away and I'd have it like stuck to the side of my face and stuff. And so I was like, all right, moving to a new studio. It's been a few years since I bought some headphones. Let me try to find some better headphones. The other ones I ended up giving to Jimmy, those like $300 and some ones. They were just not big enough for my head. You can see here there's still a little bit of room, right, between my big old noggin and the little headband thing. There is a new set of headphones I might try. And the reason, ever since you guys watched me buy this chair that was like $1,200, I've put a very big emphasis on stuff I spend a lot of time doing. So if I gotta be in this chair all the time, I gotta have the best chair. If I'm gonna wear headphones all the time, I gotta have the best headphones. If I gotta look at screens all day, I gotta have the best screens. Like these ones aren't the best, but I did buy like this screen over here. That screen is a big curved monitor. It's a 40-inch curved monitor. It was like $1,800. And it's amazing, except my camera had to go above it, and so that's why you saw the ceiling. Now I'm back to my 2 old monitors again, side by side on the camera. And so I might, if I like this setup, which it's been working well for me today, if I like this setup, I may upgrade these to some better monitors that can block blue light. And because I had another monitor that was blocking blue light, and it really helped my eyes. Like the eye fatigue, when you're live streaming, you got lights on and you're doing work before and after, it was really starting to give me some headaches and do some of that stuff. And so if I'm going to spend 12 hours a day looking at a computer screen, what does it really matter when you spend like, oh, that monitor is $400 and I needed 2 of them? Like if I go blind in 5 years, not blind, but if let's say I ruin my vision in 5 years, $800 is going to look like a really cheap thing. And same for headphones, right? Making sure that they breathe enough, they don't get too hot, they don't hurt my head, they don't hurt my ears, they can do what I need to do. I'm actually wearing these backwards. They're supposed to be worn like this. Wait, like this. No, I was wearing them right, I think. But they've got little like things that light up that I turned off because I don't need the gamer part of it. But these are I guess you asked what these were. These were Logitech. Yeah, I don't know if they say. The G733. I think I had G705s as my last one. So, yeah. Get behind the ear headphones if you got a big noggin. The problem is, so if you do the behind the head one, so a lot of times if I'm editing videos and doing that kind of stuff, I'm kind of in this laid back like position of just like, all right, I gotta watch. You know, because a lot of times I'll be like, I gotta watch an hour-long video of, let's say, Dean and I doing a tour, and I'm making notes on this screen of like, hey, right there we need B-roll. Hey, the audio's messed up here. Hey, right here I think we need a different cut. Let's cut that part out. This needs to be done this. And so, you know, just kind of in this zone for a long time. And so behind the head ones, which I do have. I have some. Oh, I forgot that I'm still tethered here. Where'd they go? I just had some. I don't know, but I have 3 different pairs of behind the head earphones for like working out and stuff, and they're also good for the warehouse when you're working in the warehouse. But yeah, I try to make it so that I don't wreck myself. I also have, where'd those go? They're right here, I think. Let me grab this. I also have light blocking glasses. They're actually, I've got slightly ruined vision. I'm convinced, by the way, that computers have ruined my vision a little bit because I have a hard time focusing on stuff that's about 6 inches from my eyes. But I do have these that will block blue light and everything, and they make me look 6 times smarter. So I've got these at Costco, and they are prescription. So actually, it's weird how it like blocks blue light, but then also like magnifies a little bit my eyes. I haven't gotten used to wearing glasses all the time. Oh man, from a nerd setup right now, my lighting is on point. You see how there's no reflection in my glasses? See, if I was up, you can see the reflection. I inadvertently made the best setup for a glasses wearer. Awesome. Yeah. Let's see. What were we just talking about? Oh, we were talking about the chair. This is an Aaron Miller chair. I'm actually going to probably buy another one so that we can have matching chairs for the guests. And you can get them on like Craigslist. So like brand new, they're like $1,200 or more. And you can get them used on Craigslist since a lot of like businesses or like office buildings kind of shut down. Everyone works from home now. You can buy them on Craigslist for like $400 or $500, which is a lot for a chair. But for a guy that spends a lot of time, and you were saying you're a big guy, they're really good. Some of the benefits, like the infomercial for the chairs that I don't sell, they're all mesh. And you've got lumbar support down here, the bottom's mesh, and you can adjust the
arms in any way, so they move in like 3 or 4 directions. And this thing was like 10 or 20 bucks on Amazon, the headrest thing. It just clamps on, but they're used in office buildings because you can run them for 20 years and they won't break down. And so, you guys know that I like to invest in things that they're going to last a long time and do all those things that I like. And so this is a chair that's going to last 20 years. And if I pay $1,200 for a chair that lasts 20 years, and I used to have problems with my lower back, kind of my butt bone, if you will, in certain chairs. And so I don't have that anymore. So that's right. If it's Sunday school, maybe I need to wear the professor glasses. So can I have your used chair? You got to buy yourself a used Aaron Miller chair. I'm going to use both of these. So that way, well, if you come on the live stream, you can sit in one of these chairs, Candy. Yeah. All right, I should probably go. I already know we're 20 minutes over and I have to go clean. I have to remove this, put shoes on, and go clean a garage. Yeah. I actually wanted to wear glasses a couple years ago, and I kept going to the eye person and be like, do I need glasses yet? And they're like, no, your eyes are perfect. And even when I got these ones, they're like, I mean, I guess we can get some glasses. Like most people would never get glasses, but then we were talking about the blue light blocking, and that I actually do think helps me. But I've never worn these long enough to get over, like I get a headache after a few hours. So I typically stop wearing them. But I don't know. I think I look good in glasses, so I kind of want to wear glasses, but I don't know. I always think you can change your look. It's like changing hats or something. If I order a chair, will I get it before Christmas? I'm a very big guy. I don't know. When I ordered mine, it was super quick. I assume they're shipping them, but I don't. Well, these ones might be made in the USA too. I don't know. If you don't know, Aaron Miller, they make, well, maybe not all of them, but they make a majority of airport seating. So it might not be the most comfortable, but think how many people got to sit in those airport chairs and how much like abuse they get day in and day out. So they're really made to last like forever. And so it's just, I tell people like, look, if you're having chair problems, it's like a bed. It's like if you're going to spend 8+ hours a day in that chair every day, just do the math and be like, okay, well, if I spend $1,200, that's $4 a day. That, if you're working from home, $4 a day for a year, it's like, okay, well, if you make X amount, $4 of the dollars go to your chair, but like, oh, over 2 years, it's only $2 a day, right? Over 4 years, it's only $1 a day. And then after that, it's even cheaper. So, we do a lot of things to make work easier for ourselves, at the cost of more than a few dollars a day. So that's how I justified it to me, knowing that I'll have one forever. And that if you don't even buy one new, if you can find one used on Craigslist for $500, you basically, pay $1 a day for the first year and you're done. It's just that upfront cost, it hurts so much. Yes, everyone hit that like button before we wrap this humdinger up. Hit that like button Can I make my new name be like Professor Nerd or Professor Nerm? I've been going back and forth on whether we should change it from Nerms to Nerds as we bring on more people. Like, will people even get it? I don't know. So I've been going back and forth on that. But all right, I have to go. I really don't want to. I gotta go check on the dogs. Then I gotta drive and go sweat way too much in a hot, dusty garage. And I don't know, maybe today. No, I gotta get more stuff out of the way. I was thinking I was gonna pressure wash today, but because it'd be a nice day, it's warm and it'd be cool, but I'm not at that stage yet. I still gotta clean more stuff. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll probably be back next Sunday, probably. Whether it'll be Smart Corey or Dumb Corey, we don't know yet, but yeah, thanks for all the new members. I appreciate that. We got 28 new members today. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely, it's the 16th. got about 2 weeks, and then hopefully we'll be able to, we'll be able to release some of the new features and things like that once YouTube allows me to do that. I told my wife she's officially a NERM when we were talking about buying something, and she said that would cost X amount of trios of guppies. Yes. By the way, if you guys didn't see, Twin Cities Guppies is opening a retail store. I'm hoping to do a visit there. Hopefully not during cicada season if they have that. And, maybe do a meetup there. I don't know yet. I don't know, because it's going to be in a mall. I don't know if there's any kind of like weird things where if like 400 of us show up to a mall, all of a sudden security's going to get us in trouble or something. And I also want to see about possibly selling some of our products that make sense in that store. We got to see, is there enough profit margin? Does shipping work out? What works out? Does it make sense? But it's a good test pilot. King Lee's a good guy. We want to see what we can do and, do things right. So hopefully if you guys are local to Minnesota, it's Minnesota. I always think it's Wisconsin, but I'm pretty sure it's Minnesota. If you're local to there, maybe you'll stop by. From what I know, I believe he's going to be carrying guppies and other community fish, not just guppies, but he's still building it out. And I think, I think he's shooting for June 1st, but I know how it goes when you're building the store. You think something and then something gets in the way, especially right now. I'm sure it's even crazier than normal. So, oh no, they got cicadas and they're loud. Dang it. I'm gonna have to have a cicada escort from the car to the store. So, all right, we'll see you guys next time. Seriously, thank you guys so much, and wish me luck with my cleaning and getting ready. Candy's here on Wednesday, although I don't know if I'm picking up from the airport. I know Katie is, so we'll see. All right, got to hit the end button wherever it lives. Bye-bye. Your stream will stop immediately and will no longer be live. Oh, that's what I want to do. Bye-bye.